Hello, hello. Welcome to Knit Night.
Hello.
Evening.
I'm Liz.
Nice.
And of course Teresa's here
I'm
with
here.
our good friend Neil, who is Major Heat. Oh, Major Heebie Jeebies. Okay, that's spelled out on the screen. On your little thumbnail, it only gets Major Heat. So welcome everybody.
Me.
So
That'll start some rumor of some kind, won't it? If other people can't see it. That's
I'm sure
especially for
there's
Joan.
I'm sure there's plenty of rumors going on about you, Neil. You don't need to add any more. With the joys of the people who could spend more time knitting than actually complaining about knitting. But hey.
Oh, have you seen them today, by the way? There's some really, really weird things going on Crafts Night today.
Weird.
No, which one?
I think it was more to do with sewing. Quilting or sewing. And somebody is doing some kind of, what do they call it? Is it recreations? What do they call it when you wear the clothes of years ago? There's a word for
reenactment.
Reenactment, that's the word. Yeah, so they're doing some kind of reenactment clothing wise, but to do with the journey across to the west. What was that called?
I saw that thread. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and they're all going mad because somebody's taught, and I read the comment and I cannot see. I don't know whether you saw what the issue was with what they were moaning about.
No,
like, where is the problem? I just think it's this thing of anybody who mentions anything that has any link, even remotely, to colonization or anything like that. It's like, oh.
And they might have already had something in their head, one thing at least, about that sort of thing, because that's what the little ragamuffin thing was about.
Yes, I was wondering. Yeah, I thought, oh God, is this
good old
ragamuffin
boy?
Book? Yeah,
right.
And they didn't like that. That was racist, even though some of the people who had tested it were black.
Well,
they didn't seem to find it racist.
That's like
Well, that's assuming that there's no black cowboys.
Wasn't the Dukes of Hazzard? Wasn't that their theme tune? Just some good old boys, never doing no harm.
And that's why they didn't like it.
Yes, because they didn't like that.
Oh, and they also had the General Lee car.
Yep.
All kinds of problematic.
That's it. We're cancelled already. We're only in 5 minutes.
Yes.
That was round for years and years and years and years, and nobody had a problem with it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
but
everything's a problem now, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, and we probably shouldn't say that during this month because it's that month. But
I've been doing my best for Black History Month, and I've been sharing a few bits of Black history, but I don't think they like the Black history that I'm sharing.
I don't think they like the bits you're sharing, Neil.
It's a bit problematic, I think.
Well, but
if you want your history, you've got to have the good with the bad. That's what I say.
Yeah, well, and there is good with bad. Everybody's history is complicated. Everybody's history has conquering and being conquered, and
So if you wonder what I'm doing, I have a knotted piece of yarn, so I'm going to spend my time trying to get it undone.
Oh, did your cats do it?
No, it's a yarn bath, from the middle.
No.
I pulled it out and I pulled too much out, and I've got this other bit at the other end as well. So I won't cut it though. I'm determined. I am going to unravel it. I'm not going to waste
but sometimes unraveling it can be therapeutic. When you're just sitting there and just pulling it through your fingers and
I need that today because I've had a really shitty few days, so I need a bit of.
I saw a really good technique that somebody did for getting the knots out. Hold the yarn like you're holding butterfly wings. Just the lightest touch with the yarn, and that helps it fall apart easier.
Can you see that? No, it's not going any further. That's it. I think I'm going to have to pull a wing off. I don't mind doing this though. It actually, like Liz said, it does actually, chill me out a little bit. I know some people get stressed by it, but it doesn't actually stress me.
Exactly,
See.
thrifty chickaday. It kneels right to it. I just find it. I hate it because it's a pain because it keeps you from
Yeah.
knitting. But sometimes when you just go from the end and you just work your way through it, it's not necessarily a bad thing because it's kind of way to keep your hands busy so your mind can think out other things.
And it kind of for me becomes like a I don't know. God, I can't think of any words today. What's wrong with it? A challenge. That's the word. It becomes a challenge, and I won't be defeated.
Yes, because you're sitting there saying that to yourself or to the yarn. You're not. I'm not going to cut you. I'm not going to cut you.
Yeah, unravel. You've got 5 minutes to unravel, or I'm going to cut you.
I was winding up some yarn today, and 2 of the skeins were tangled, and I was just like, "Really?" And they were. I mean, like, not easy to fix tangled. I had to take it off and then start. I'm like, what? Does this think it's Malabrigo or something? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a.
Who do you think you are?
Don't get me wrong. I love Malabrigo, but 9 times out of 10, it's tangled.
Really?
I have a skein, and it's discontinued now, so I can't do anything with them about it. Of Knit Picks, what's it called? Diadem. It's silk.
Ooh,
It's like silk and alpaca, or mostly silk, and it is hopelessly tangled out of that skein. I'm gonna have to sit there one day and just like.
Is silk notorious for that, or is it the alpaca that's making it?
Well, I don't.
Alpaca.
And they might have had some kind of mishap at the factory or something, but it is a hot mess. And it's been sitting there, and I just dread. I'm looking at it like, oh, come on.
See, now if I came to visit, you could just give me that, and I would work my way through it. Just keep giving me food and drink, and I will do that for you.
I'll have to just suck it up one day and do it.
What are you going to make with it when you've done it, or is it just for stash purposes?
I had bought 2 skeins, and I have a shawl on the needles.
Okay.
That's probably, I don't know, not even halfway done or 3/4 of the way done. And I've got so much left of this one skein, so I don't even think I'm going to need the other one. So I'll have to find.
You're not in a rush then.
Oh no.
Right. Oh, that's all right,
no.
Isn't it?
The other skein was okay, but that one, it looks like squirrels were dancing on it or something.
Yeah, I've had that before too.
But with silk,
not with
it's
silk.
not.
I had it with,
it's not plied. This isn't plied.
Oh, I had one with alpaca in it, and it's just like, you know what? I'm just going to put this project aside for now. And I know if you put mohair in the freezer, that's supposed to help. But I've never tried it with alpaca. So
with silk, if you knit with just silk, so you said it's not plied, is it a bit like tiny hair fibers?
It's very fuzzy. Well, I wonder if I have. Well, no, that one's.
I've never knit with just silk by itself.
No.
Here, hang on. Let me go grab the
silk in it.
Hold on.
No.
The yarn I've just been using with Chicken Lady has silk in it, but it's an Aran weight. It's silk and merino, I think.
Oh, that'll have been nice.
It is. It's her silky base, and you have to pre-order because she doesn't keep it in stock.
Oh.
But I just finished my new cardigan in it. My new design that I have to knit again and then write up the pattern. But let me see what it is.
So is that what you do when you design? Do you end up knitting it twice?
Usually I will do it in my size and my daughter's size because that way I can check the sizing, and she usually models it. So
how lucky is she?
Yeah. Okay. Hers is 85 merino, 15% silk.
Right.
Oh, that's totally
going to be soft.
Oh, I just realized that's a totally different amount of yardage than I thought it was, but okay.
I don't have
No, I thought the yardage was the same as her MCN, but it's a lot more, and that's how I was able to finish this in 4.5 skeins, not 5 skeins.
Oh, we have a question, a real life knitting question. Speaking of ply, can someone explain how I can tell if something is 1 ply, 2 ply, 4 ply, etc.? I don't want to sound like a dingbat, but I really
okay. Well, if you go to the end of the yarn, one of the ends, and you pick it apart, you'll see the individual plies. If it's just like a roving, it'll just have 1 ply.
So it's just the number of fibers, isn't it?
It's the number of fibers that are that are wound together, but you can pull it apart at the end into the individual ones, and you can see what the ply is.
I think
right?
what makes it confusing is that we have 4-ply for fingering. That doesn't always mean it's 4-ply. 4-ply doesn't have to be 4-ply, does it?
No, but that's how it's been known to.
That's kind of the exception.
Identified.
Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'll try to get it close to the.
Oh, it's fuzzy, isn't it?
I got it. It's super fuzzy. Let me get it.
Ooh.
It's very fuzzy.
I
don't know. I don't know if it's all silk or if it's silk up. It's discontinued. It's called Diadem.
It's got to be silk in something, because I don't know how fluffy silk is.
Is it nice to knit with?
Oh. It's like you need to buy it dinner afterwards,
Make it breakfast.
Yes, it is very nice. But it's discontinued because once I started knit with, I was like, oh, I got to get more of the. Nope. No, you don't.
That is so annoying, isn't
it? So I'm doing the. Let me see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This says it is a
textured shawl recipe.
Okay. Wow. This says it's ultra luxe single ply fingering weight with subtle differences in thickness.
What's the fiber?
50% camelid, which is alpaca, and 50% silk.
Yeah.
So will it be the alpaca that's making it fluffy? It will, won't it?
Yeah.
I wish I had bought a whole lot more.
I missed it. I didn't get any when it was available.
Oh, it's lovely.
But look, I
down to my last 2 knots.
Yay!
Ooh,
oh, is this your new one?
Yep. Let's see, it's got the flowers all the way down the sleeve.
Is that new chicken lady color?
This is in her silk thicket,
thicket,
which I really like. It's a little bit lighter than it is in the other bases, not quite as deep, but I really like it, and it came out really nice. I thought it was the same yardage as her MCN, which is 180, but it's 215, and I'm like, well, that explains why I didn't need as much. Ooh. But it's really soft, and it works up really, really nice. This is Aran weight. I think you can just pre-order it from her. I don't think she keeps it in stock yet, because she didn't have any when I asked her for some, and she had to hunt it down. Oh, thank you, Christine. So yeah. So I have to block that and everything. I just finished that this morning.
It's lovely.
Yeah. I'm excited. I've been trying to figure out that flower pattern in a sweater for a long time, and I've tried it different ways. I tried it with a raglan, I tried it down the back, and it just wasn't clicking. And finally, I figured out, after doing that ropes and twines, how to do it across the back, because it has to be where it pulls it out enough to keep the tension, a little bit of tension on the shape. And that keeps the flowers opened up. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. So now I have to write it up and knit it again for me, but I'll be using a different yarn for that, because I like to do them in different yarns to see how it works up before I write it up. So
I wish I was as quick a knitter as you.
It's Aran weight, Neil. It goes fast. Aran weight goes fast.
You do your other ones quick too.
Yeah, I find I can knit with fingering and DK, but anything like Aran or above, and it really hurts my hands. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
this is 17 stitches to the inch. Or to 4 inches, sorry. So it's 4 1/4 stitches.
That's like really tight.
Yeah. No, it's not Neil tight. It's 4 1/4 stitches. 4 1/4 stitches per inch. So it's a pretty open gauge. But this yarn has got I don't know what it's going to be when it blocks, because I haven't blocked it, but it's a very full, bouncy yarn. So I'm interested to see what it looks like once you block it.
Cool.
So yeah. So I just finished that this morning, and now I'm working on my murder knit shawl, which I had to relook up the pattern because I haven't worked on it since last Monday, and I couldn't remember if you slipped the first stitch or not on both rows.
Because it's such a complicated pattern, isn't it? It's not...
No, it's not. But I couldn't remember.
All the charts and.
So I'm looking forward to the new Morticia pattern that's coming out in block.
Oh, yes. I don't know when anyone will see it, but Tabitha's done some photos for the cover. So
They're
I don't
awesome.
know that you guys have seen it. Yeah, you've seen it, yeah. So
yes.
The only thing I think that's missing, I said, was like a couple of legs, you know, for the dead person in the background, you know, just popping out from a tree or in the grass or something.
I'm sure she'll get right on that next time. Maybe for the Summer of Murder.
Yeah.
She could have taken him in a graveyard.
Ooh, that would have been spooky. I don't know if she has one near her that's, you know, got the right atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
Well, you know, there's modern cemeteries and there's old ones, and old ones
like
have a
churches.
different.
Sure.
Yeah. So
the ambiance.
Exactly. But so what are you working on, Therese?
What's
you
that?
Get it done?
I think I have.
Ooh, good.
Yay!
Yay!
Round of applause, please.
Yay! Yay,
So
Lori.
now I need to unravel my ball now.
Yay! And Lori's working on a murder knit shawl.
I beat you. Sorry, go on.
Lori.
It's yellow.
Yay! Lori's working on a murder knit shawl too. She's almost done, so good for her.
Wow.
It's the best, just relaxing, mindless, watching TV, doctor appointment knitting.
I think it's only me and Joe that have never knitted it, isn't it?
I don't think Morgan's made one yet either, but she said she would.
Well, she don't get time, does she, with all the things I'm making?
Actually, Therese, it's Neil that's keeping Morgan from knitting one.
Yeah,
probably every time she thinks
isn't here.
Every time she probably wants to cast on, Neil can
He's like,
sense it.
oh,
And
here.
he says, hey, Morgan, you've got another thing to test it for.
Yeah,
me.
here's something. Here's a scarf cast on 500 stitches.
Yeah, it's only 25 skeins of yarn, you know. Yeah, I need someone to actually sit down and say, look, you know, if you can't do it, don't be afraid to say no. You know, because I'm really worried that she's just saying yes all the time. You know, really
she will tell you no.
So sweet, yeah.
I think
if she say no, I won't be upset. You know,
I think she would tell you no if she wanted to. I don't think she's a pushover.
So. Yeah, can you imagine that if I'm working her to death, literally? Yay! Oh, can I show you my bit of yarn chicken that I was really, I'm still working on the same old. It's going to take me forever.
Yeah, but aren't you going to be so excited to wear it, though?
Yeah, I think because of how long it's taken, I think I'm really going to like it. But, you know, because so I played yarn chicken and I won. So I got to the end with just that. I mean, it was only for, so I don't, you know, to join a new ball, but it's still an achievement. But I'm getting there slowly, so I've still got the body to finish. So this is upside down. So,
you've
but it's
a lot done.
Yeah, I've not measured it yet. So that's the underarm. So I'm presuming it's going to be about 17 to 20 inches, isn't it, from the underarm? I think. Can't remember. But at the moment, what I've got to decide now is whether to take a break from the body and do another sleeve.
Yes.
And then go back to the body, or whether to just plow through the body and then do the sleeve.
Do the sleeve. Because if you do the sleeve and then you do the body, when you get done with the body, all you got to do is that button band. And you can whip out the button band fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you finish the body, if you have the body done and then you have to do a sleeve and the button band, you'll put it down.
Yeah.
That's why I like to do the sleeves. I like to do the sleeves first because I think it fits, but you can tell how it fits better once the sleeves are done. And also,
because I can try it on then, can't I?
Yeah. Yeah, because you can try it on without the sleeves, but with the open holes, you don't get the right fit. And also, I like it to get them done. I like to, sometimes if I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough yarn, I'll do the sleeves first so that I know that I have the rest of it for the body and whatever else is left.
Oh, I've got more of this yarn than I could possibly need.
Oh, I know you have plenty of yarn, but I would say
a bit, and I'm not going to need more than 5. I think I'm only going to need 4 in the end. Maybe 4 and a bit, I think. Right, I'm glad you've said that, Liz. So that's made the mind up now. So I'm going to just put it to one side because I need to concentrate to pick up for the sleeve. So I won't do that now.
Yeah, but because the sleeve can go pretty fast.
Yeah,
you've already done
feel
one.
like they're longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can I show you this as well? I've show you some British. You're not going to see it very well, I don't think. But I was talking with Tabitha, and she was talking about Ganseys because I think she's going to be knitting a Gansey pattern. And I've been meaning to finish a Gansey for quite a long time. And we were talking about the 5-ply yarn. So this fits into what I've forgotten who it was who asked the question. Now someone was asking about ply, weren't they? And 5-ply yarn is actually quite not rare, but it's not very common anymore. And
Isn't that what we call sport weight?
I don't think it is. I mean, sport weight may have 5 plies. No, it's 6 ply. Sport weight is 6 ply.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's between fingering and sport weight. So it's quite
so it's
heavy fingering. Is that what yeah. So there's a company in the UK called Frangipani, I think, but they work with guernseywool.co.uk, and they still do the 5-ply yarns, and they sell it in 500 gram cones. So basically 2 of them is going to do a good Gansey for a bloke at least. But they send these out for free, at least around the UK they do. So I've asked them for it because I know which colours I'm leaning towards, but I've kind of got this. So the Australians call 5-ply sport weight. Well, the Australians call everything weird, don't they? Like 8-ply instead of DK. You're all just wrong. Joke. So I don't know which colour to go with because I know which colours I'm going to enjoy knitting, but I know which colours are going to suit me better, and they're not the same. So what do I go for?
Is it a solid Gansey?
It'll be solid colour. No, solid colour, but it'll be pearl and knit.
Right. So you want a color where the texture is going to show up.
So it's got to be a bit lighter, hasn't it? Nothing like black or.
I wouldn't do black, but you could do the blues. You could do the darker greens. The burgundy, it'd still show up. Grays. Yeah, you could do pretty much anything but like a really black or dark brown, I think.
I know it's boring, but I'm really leaning towards one of the. Oh, can you see that? One of those two. So it's pewter or denim blue. Now, the funny thing is, I'm going to be miserable knitting those 2 colours.
They're boring colours.
Because they're boring colours. But I know on me it will work. Those colours really work for me. But so the only other thing I'm thinking is I'm leaning to this one because I think that one I'll probably enjoy knitting more.
Okay.
Or this end one here, this sort of more turquoisey one.
Which one do you think you would wear the most?
Oh, I'd probably wear one of them 2 the most. Either of those equally.
Now, okay. I'm going to ask you.
You're going to have to suck it up.
Yes.
This is like a counseling session, isn't it?
No. Let me just say. So I'm gonna guess you probably wear more dark colors, blacks, grays.
Generally, I do. Yeah.
Okay. And yet you've got the wild Stephen West sweater going. Yes.
Yeah.
So therefore, pick the color you want and just wear it. Just wear it.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I'm trying to.
It'll end up being a bright red or a mustard yellow.
I was going to say red. Yes,
red would be awesome because then you can wear it. Then you can wear it on our Christmas podcast.
Yes.
Well,
with a very special
guest. Very careful. Yeah. With reds, I'm really boring everyone here. With reds, it has to be red with blue in it, otherwise it makes me look like I'm dead. If it's red with any kind of yellow or orange in it, I look really awful. So that would mean. It's going to have to be one of those 2, really, I think.
Either one.
Whereas that one is probably the Christmas Santa red, isn't it? That brighter one.
Or what about like a maroon, like a wine color, burgundy?
Well, yeah, I would go for that. But the only reason why I'm staying away from that is because last year I bought a sweater's worth of that colour in skeins yarn, and I know I will knit that one day. But I just think, I don't want to have too many, But...
Thank you, Thrifty. I appreciate that. Yeah, Neil. I think Neil could wear that bright red too.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
You just
that's
want
the
me
one
to
I
be
did.
Santa. That's all it is.
No, I want you to. I struggle because I wear black or gray almost all the time, so I'm trying to bring more color in with my
But
knit,
it goes
and
with
not
the
just
hair, doesn't it?
exactly.
When you've
Yeah,
got
the
grey
gray
hair,
hair.
it really works.
You,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to bring in more color. But speaking of burgundy, the version of my new sweater that I'm knitting for myself is this color,
There you go.
Yeah, that's nice.
which is burgundy. It's got red and pink in it too, though. It like
Mhm.
shades. Because
Yeah,
it's
I think you
hedgehog.
might have
It's
convinced
hedgehog,
me.
but it was on sale. So
Yeah, because I know I'd enjoy knitting that red. I would enjoy.
then do
you
it.
know.
If you're going to make something,
Yeah.
you want to enjoy making it and enjoy wearing it. If you're making it to wear, I mean, if you're making it for someone else and you let them choose the color, then you're kind of stuck
Yeah.
and you knit
Yeah,
whatever color. But if you're making it for yourself, make something that you want to knit and that you're going to enjoy wearing, and you can pull off the red.
Oh yeah.
And Tabitha would say so too, considering she just did that red Morticia shawl.
She did, yeah. And I think Tabitha's colouring is similar to mine, isn't it? She's got the same colour eyes, I think. Is it grey eyes Tabitha's got? And she's got a bit of grey hair, hasn't she? Well, it's Asher hair, isn't it, rather than grey?
Yo-Yo saying something evergreen. Yo-Yo, don't. We're trying to get him to do red. Don't bring green into it. No, seriously, do whatever color you want.
They're
I
trying
say
to
do
get
the
me
red
to
though.
pink, aren't they? Pink with yellow spots. That's what you want me in. Which, funnily enough, I would probably wear.
Have we ever suggested Neil wear pink on our podcast? I don't think
Not
so.
yet, but I don't know. It's starting to sound pretty good.
Yeah.
I love guys in pink.
I'm just saying, if you're going to go to all the trouble to knit a sweater, you want to enjoy the process, because sweaters knitting is not for the faint of heart.
And looking at
take me a long
grayish
time
blue for hours. Yeah.
There you go. If you knit with colors you hate, you put all the bad mojo into your project.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
So I say, pick a color you're going to enjoy knitting with, and then you'll enjoy wearing it.
True. Yes.
You're right. So. You are right.
Because if you make the other one, the blue, gray, whatever it is, and you go, oh, here's my sweater. I love it, but it was so much work. And it was just, you will think of that.
I wish it was red.
Yeah. That's hence why I have this, because I've been wanting a red for so long. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to knit it.
That's on my
list. That's it. You've convinced me it's red.
That's on my list is a red sweater. Yeah.
I'll tell you what else I'm going to be casting on this week, even though I've still got this one on the go, because I'm really struggling with it because I'm bored of it. I'm definitely going to cast the Lock Karen one on. Because I know I am going to love doing the ribbing, because I like doing two-colour ribbing.
I'm going to cast that on at some point.
Me
Trace is too. I just I can't get my mind around color work right now. Mentally, I'm not there right now. So I had a Valentine's Day color work project that I was going to do a pattern, but I just couldn't. I wasn't enjoying knitting it, so I put it aside for next year.
Especially in fingering weight.
Yeah. 480 bloody stitches.
Yeah, if it were mitts or something, it'd be a different story, or even a hat. But oof, that's a lot.
I wish you could make the pattern a mosaic pattern, because I would love to do it as a mosaic.
Probably could, but it would take obviously twice as long, wouldn't it? You could. There's no way of doing mosaic on any Fair Isle pattern, but you literally have to do everything twice. Don't you? It's not. Generally, they're 2-row repeats, aren't they, on mosaics? Generally. Yeah. But you can do it. It's just not. It's not. But
I guess you don't have to pick up the floats on that, because Shauna said that she's not picking up any floats because their stitches are so close together. So maybe it won't be so bad.
Is it 5? I think there's only 5, isn't there, at the most?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Shauna's looking really nice. Have you seen it?
I
know.
Really good.
Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. Yeah, I want it.
Well, it's like that
I want to do it for a little while. Yeah.
It's that shawl you just finished. I want to do that shawl too, but I don't want to do it. I just kind of want to have it done.
Yes. Or almost done.
That shawl is amazing.
Almost done. It is.
Almost done.
Have the epileptic fits or the migraines doing it. It's like.
Oh, I couldn't. Yeah, I would have been done a week earlier, but I couldn't look at it. It made me dizzy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Now it's done though. Are you okay now it's done, or Is it because you don't stare?
Yeah,
at
I'm
it,
fine.
or,
It'll come.
you know?
With that, it's still, if you look at it hard enough, it's like, ooh, that's kind of, like those swirly thing, but
There
it's
was that
fine.
pattern that was on one of the knitting magazines. I don't know which one, Liner or something that was like that, the black and white one not too long ago.
Oh,
There was a pattern like that.
no.
But
Swirly?
it was
Oh,
it looked
no.
it was kind of like your shawl, but then it
Oh,
changed. On each section was a different version of the pattern, so it was all like um give me a seizure kind of
yeah.
feel looking to. I mean, very cool looking and very
Oh,
would probably
yeah.
be very cool to knit, but I just think it would mess with my
That's like
brain.
most of the Stephen West shawls, they'll give you a
BS is
headache.
asking which pattern. Do you have it there, or is it?
Oh, it's called
Your shawl.
my shawl. It's called the Pins and Needles by Sweater Freak.
It is.
And it's a fun
cool
knit
pattern, though.
It's a fun knit. You have to pay attention because you have to count. Well, I
wonder whether it wouldn't have the same effect if it wasn't the two stark colours like black.
Yeah,
and
I wonder
white,
if there was
whether
less
it a little
contrast.
bit-
If it
That's
wouldn't be
why
used.
I think that's why it's done that way. But I was thinking,
Oh,
I
was
would love
the
to do it.
original not black and white, or was the original black and
The
white?
original was black and white. Mine was
Right.
a very dark green variegated.
It looked black, didn't it, from the
Yeah,
screen?
it does.
Yeah, it did look black.
Yeah, it's one of those blackish kind of greens, but then it's got some light pops in it. From Forbidden Fiber. I have to talk about our friend from Forbidden Fiber. So, and since then I haven't knit.
What, is that
No.
it? You've had enough.
I'm done.
That's it now. Never again.
No, I wanted to switch back to crochet because it's faster and it's, and for me it's more relaxing.
Yeah.
So I finished
It has.
I finished the one shawl I was making. I just have to block it.
Oh, I like
wow.
that.
Here, let me go back. Here.
That's pretty.
Nice colour choices.
Well,
That's
it's
very well
one of those balls of 90%
is it already done?
acrylic and 10% alpaca from Hobby Lobby.
Not Hobby Lobby.
I know, it's terrible. So it's gonna have a tassel. Tassel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do
so I
you
gotta block
do you use
that.
do you use a tool when you make your tassels, or do you just wing them?
I used a credit card. I just whined.
Okay.
Is that the most use it gets?
Yeah. Yes. Nowadays, yeah. And then I started this, and then you'll be done with me. I started it doesn't matter, does it? A moss stitch shawl.
Ooh, pretty.
Oh, is this crochet?
Yes.
Is the moss stitch the one? I don't know it as moss stitch. It's the one where you do a single crochet chain, single crochet
linen
chain.
stitch. It's called.
Yeah.
That's how I know
moss
it, yeah.
stitch linen. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. That's my thing about crochet is everybody has their tutorials of crochet stitches, but they call them different things, and it's like, no, that's not that. That's this stitch. Like
Yeah.
you're not creating a stitch just because you knit the stitch and then you make up your own name for it.
Right.
That doesn't make that a new stitch. That just makes it, it's so frustrating because I'll get these on Pinterest, these things, oh, try this stitch. And it's like, no, that's not that stitch. That's this stitch.
And see, for this linen stitch makes more sense because it does look woven. So I don't know why.
Well, it looks like the knitted linen stitch, I think. If you use multiple colours.
Right.
And it's like, why would you knit? Because knitted linen stitch, I find really hard work. It goes so tight. Whereas the crochet one is so quick, isn't it?
She's
we love
amazing.
Forbidden Fiber.
Oh.
We love Forbidden Fibers.
We love Leanne. She's amazing.
Go for it. I don't think you'll be sorry.
She's not a lunatic.
She's lovely colors, and I've always had, great service with her. Always quick shipping and just
she's
lovely
awesome
to deal with. Yeah, Yo-Yo says so too. We love Forbidden Fibers.
We love her. So that's what I started, my little moss stitch. Got to use my wonderful friend Tara from Yarn Chicken and Shit sent me a bunch of her leftovers because I'm always looking for different leftovers because so I finished one shawl I'm going to use the same leftovers. It's going to be the same shawl, maybe in different, arrangement, but it's still the same shawl. So I was like, I need to find some minis. So she sent me, not minis, scraps.
That works.
Yeah.
I can send you a ton of this when I've done.
Yeah, what are you going to do with the other 5 skeins, Neil?
Yeah, right. A sweater for his mum.
I could do actually. But can you imagine though if I ever go anywhere with her and we both end up wearing it on the same day? It's like matchy mother and son. You know what I mean? It's like how awful would that be?
No, you would just have to own it and act like, it was intentional.
You would go viral. Well. Okay.
You know what you could do? You could make a blanket. You could like alternate squares with like black squares or white squares or gray squares.
True. Yeah.
That would be pretty.
Well, I will make a pair of socks with it because it is sock yarn. So
but then if he lays down on the bed, you won't see him.
He'll disappear.
Yeah, we get a hat. Need some trousers as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, BS. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
We're not going to talk about Tabitha's undies.
No, or lack thereof.
Lack thereof. I was going to say that. I thought I better should. Oh, yeah. We were so glad to have Tabitha on last week because we missed seeing her.
We were. She's so busy all the time.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see her in Blocked magazine. Yes. Have you decided which picture is going to be the cover, Neil?
Well, I asked her which one she liked the most because I wanted to find that out first, and then I think I'm going to go for the other one. Just to annoy her. No, what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to mock up 3 different covers and just see which one works. And I might post it on the Patreon site and see and get the patrons to vote on it. Maybe that's if they all look good as a cover. Because what I've got to make sure is that there's a balance with the logo, and I'm a stickler for empty space. I love empty space. Some people can't stand it; they like to fill every.
Oh
bit.
No.
No.
So there's one of them might not work, even though it's a brilliant photo, whereas the other 2 definitely will work. So I don't know yet.
Well, you can use the one that won't work on the inside of the magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, all 3 will be used. They'll all be used because they're all 3 of the pictures are really good.
Her head is going to get bigger and bigger.
Because I feel like Tabitha would expect me and Therese to tell you that all pictures should be used. So I'm just going to say.
She already said that to you.
No, but I'm sure she would expect.
We know how she is.
Yes.
Well, the good thing is, the thing about Tabitha is, I know if I'd have said no, she'd have had a public go at me online or whatever, but then it'd been fine. You know what I mean? Because we like that.
I know exactly what she would say, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd say, besides, sort yourself out.
She comes up with awesome pictures, so why not?
Right.
Well, I didn't know that because what I said to her prior, I said, "Look, I'm only going to use it if it." Oh shit, she's here. Best not say.
Hey, Tabitha.
Yeah, I did say to her, make sure it's really good resolution because if it's not clear enough, we can't really use it. And luckily, what's great about the photos is that you can see every stitch on the shawl. The definition is there. So
because she's awesome.
Yeah, we can say we'll have to say good things about her now she's here.
Hey,
don't rewind, Tabitha. You don't want to hear the beginning.
We told him to use all 3 pictures, Tabitha. So if he doesn't, then it's not because Therese and I didn't try. So But
oh yeah, I'm doing another chat with Tabitha tomorrow, if she's still available, unless she ditches me. So it's it's earlier than it was.
Yeah, that was early in the morning for me.
Hey, you can't do it. You can't do it. It's raining.
I think you should send Tabitha the rest of your yarn.
Oh, for this,
and then
I could.
Yes, yeah. and then she can knit a sweater, and you guys can wear them on your podcast. Yes, it can be like your podcast. It can be like your podcast uniform. Where you wear them.
I'd expect her to knit the exact same pattern though, and I don't think she likes this pattern. I don't know though. Guatemala, Tabitha, do you like the Guatemala? I made that sound like Guatemala then, didn't I?
I'm waiting until she does her Carol Baskin sweater.
Yes.
Oh God, that's going to be funny.
I know.
That will be
I'm
funny.
going to make her a flower. I'm going to crochet her a flower crown to go with it.
Well, we need to somehow find her a big cat, but one that won't get her in trouble or eat her.
She calls it the man boob
The
sweater.
man boob sweater. Yeah, because on Stephen West, you can see his man boobs. So God knows what it's going to look like on me.
She already started an ugly cat shawl and hasn't finished it. I don't know if she's going to start another one. Maybe.
Oh, well, my new best friend, Annie, don't tell Joe, has almost finished the ugly cat shawl.
Ooh, good for
She
Annie.
didn't have any problems with it at all. No, she didn't actually. But
did you write it in British English? Is that why?
Yeah. It's all the hues and colour. That's what did it,
Oh, awesome. Yay. We're podcasting Monday, right? Because Tabitha's off. Well, then we know where you'll be. Yay. Awesome. We can talk about your cover shoot.
Oh yeah, what date are we on? Because the magazine's going to be out hopefully the last day of February, the 28th.
Well, this will be before
29th.
then, because today is the 12th, so
There's
29th.
19th. Is it a leap year?
Yeah, it's a leap year. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. That gives an extra day, doesn't it?
So next Monday will be the 19th.
Right. So it won't be out, but by then you might have seen the mock-ups, so you'll be able to talk about that if you want.
Yeah. So, what new patterns are coming out in the magazine?
Oh, we've got quite a few this issue. We've got some lady called Liz something or other has done a pattern. Not sure how good it is, but no. Liz Clavier has done another one of her patterns, which is really nice. It's called the Murder Knits Cowl, I believe. No, Murder She Wrote Cowl. I've forgotten.
Murder Knits Cowl.
Murder Knits Cowl. Then we've got the Murder Knits shawl, because we haven't actually put it in yet, but we waited for this issue especially because obviously it's the murder mystery issue. And also there's Tabitha's Morticia shawl, and then there's the weapon of choice cowl, the one I did, which is the Cluedo based,
which is amazing. That cowl is amazing, Neil. That's so good.
I think that was down to Morgan and Mommy Dreary who did the test knits, because they did such a brilliant job of that.
It's a really cool
pattern. I
pattern.
Finished it. I'm still only halfway through. How bad is that? I didn't even knit my own pattern. Oh, but then there's two others. There's also Anne Pinkover's blanket. So you might have seen what she's been showing. Oh, that's going to be in there. And Deplorable Knitter has a pattern in there. It's a baby hat pattern.
Oh, cool.
Off the top of my head. I think that's it. Is there any others? If I've forgotten anybody, I'm sorry. I've not done it intentionally.
So are you going to design more patterns with your weapon of choice charts?
I might do, but I've been doing last week I went through this really weird phase because I couldn't sleep. And I just I've realized that I am really creative in the middle of the night. And I was just banging out all these patterns. Some of them won't get used for different reasons, some of them wouldn't work or whatever. But I wrote 3 patterns this week that potentially, I'm going to have to relook at them, obviously, go back to them, make sure the math is right and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I will go back to that pattern and do something with it, but I'm into a few other things at the moment.
Because I'm just thinking, with the Summer of Murder coming up, you could do like a hat with it, or even just the weapons chart going around above the brim would be cool.
Yeah, and I said to you, Liz, if you this is just for Liz, by the way, not for any other designers out there that might be wanting to steal it. But Liz has permission to use any of those charts if she wants to.
Well, thank you. I'll see what I can do. I'm kind of booked right now because Tabitha reminded me of 2 patterns that I promised her. So I need to get them done.
Oh, she has you as her personal designer. Wow.
Well, no, I designed a pattern. I designed a sweater pattern for Paisley, and I also was doing an adult version of it with not the same exact pattern, but similar. And when I knit it up, I didn't like the gauge, so I need to re-knit it in a different yarn that's right. in a different gauge. So I need to get that for her because she has Traditha that she wants to knit it up in for her to match Paisley. Because who could not design for Paisley? She even did a photo shoot with her for the sweater because she's the model for the sweater.
I think Paisley is going to be in this issue.
Really?
Because I'm just Tabitha will remind me, but I think one of the pictures for the Murdenich shawl, the original Murdenich shawl, is Paisley just holding it up like that. So one of them is
awesome.
Tabitha, one of them is Paisley. It's
That's
a really
awesome.
cute picture, actually. I think she stood in front of the fireplace. I think. Do you use Stitch Fiddle for your pattern?
I use Pattern Genius on iPad.
Is that better than Stitch Fiddle, or do you not?
I've not used Stitch Fiddle. Pattern Genius, it has it's got like different tabs. You can do just regular stitches. You can do an increase tab, increases, decreases, cable, brioche. It's got a tab for everything for color work. And basically you do your chart and then it asks you if you want to save it as a picture, and you can do that, but it also saves the written instructions. So it'll automatically
How does it work with short rows? Because on Stitch Fiddle, I'm really struggling to get it to understand that short row doesn't have to have all the stitches for the whole row.
I've never done short rows because I haven't done short rows in charts.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm sure there's a way you could do it. There's also what's nice is you can add your own stitch type. Like if it's not on there, there's one that you can go in and say, okay, this symbol will mean this.
Right. Yeah.
Which is nice. But I like it because you can save it as a JPEG, the chart. So it's easy to add it
Zoom in and
yeah.
I'll have a look at that. I mean, I'm quite happy with Stitch Fiddle. It's just this short row thing. I just cannot get it to work.
Is Stitch Fiddle PC or Mac or what is it?
It's PC, but I do have it on my iPad as well, so I can.
Okay, I'll download it and see. I'll download it and see what I like better. But
it takes a bit of. I'd say it's taken me a year to understand what I know now. Like at the beginning, there was loads of things I couldn't figure out. Like it kept when it does the written instructions. If you have knit one, purl one, for example, it just wrote knit, purl, rather than putting the one in.
But this will put the ones in.
Having to put just ticking a box, but I didn't know for ages that that's what you had to do. So there is a bit of a learning curve with it.
Yeah, this makes up a key too, which is nice. It as well as your chart, it makes up a key of all the stitches that you can save as a JPEG too. So you can just have that, separate key to put in. But I'll download Stitch Fiddle later and play around with it. It's nice too. You can duplicate your chart. Like if it's the chart, it's the same chart, but you need to expand it. You can do that as well.
Yeah, it's quite handy, that, isn't it? Yeah.
But we'll see. And you can export it as a PDF, which is nice as well. So.
Oh yeah, so I need to advertise. We're looking for patterns for next issue, people.
Which
Never
issue
ends.
Is next?
Next issue is it? Hang on, so February, March, April. So the April issue, which is, oh my God, I've forgotten. Is it the Heroes issue? Anne, remind me. Anne Pinkham is here. Anne, when's is the Heroes issue April?
I don't remember. I think I saved the list.
I've forgotten. Do you know?
She said Stitch Fiddle won't let her pay for it. Did you tell Stitch Fiddle not to let Anne have it, Neil?
Yeah, she's been cancelled. Stitch Fiddle, no. I think you have to pay annually, don't you? I pay an annual fee, I think, for Stitch Fiddle. I think it's £24 a year, I think. Does that sound about right? But it's not a huge amount.
I pay for Pattern Genius. I think it's
Bare Arms. Thank you, Yolanda. Oh, you'd think I didn't have
that one is the April. All right. Well.
Yeah, so Bare Arms is the next issue. So what we're looking for is any interpretation of the words bear and arms. So you can do, guns, you can do bears, you can do arms, you can do armor, whatever. Naked even, if that's what you want, bear with an arm. So any kind of patterns related to that, and also any articles that you might have that don't have to link to it, but might have a tentative kind of link. So, for example, I'm going to be writing a piece about size inclusivity because bears are big. So that's where that that's my very, very tentative link.
Question: are you going to pro size inclusivity or not? Or are you saying designers should design what they want to design and don't pick on them?
Yeah, I am, and I'm going to be focusing on men's sizing because that's what I know. So if there's anybody who wants to do a piece about women's sizing, I would really love it if somebody would, because I'm not
too many expletives.
But I've got this diagram which shows the average bodies when as they see them, and when you look at it from the front, you can see how people are sizing garments, and you think they're going to work. But when you see these men to the side and you see how big the bellies get, then you start to see where the sizing things up falls down or doesn't fall down, as the case may be. Because the bigger the belly, the more things ride up at the front, because the belly needs to be longer than the back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the back
Same things happen. Same things happen when women have,
huge
big
boobs.
chests. Yeah, because it makes it right up in the front. Yeah, unless you've got short rows and stuff to adjust that, or put in darts, which I'm learning how to do.
So do we need, instead of bust darts, do we need big belly darts? Is that what we need in men's big sizes?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
I think when I write the article, it's going to be more questions than answers, I think, because it's going to be raising issues that, things to think about. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it'll offend a lot of people.
Oh, hopefully. I aim to please no one.
Well,
it's interesting. It's good to get a different perspective on the whole inclusivity thing, because we already know exactly how some people think about it. Like, you should write, 65 different sizes, Well,
I kind of think if you've got a designer, like say if I was designing like sweaters, I'd be perfectly within my rights to only design my size ranges, so I don't know, XL to whatever, 5XL, whatever the range might be. And that might be the way I should go, and just focus on that. Mm-hmm. And then you have like somebody who's skinny and tiny, like let them design their end of the market. But I think maybe the answer should be that designers will allow other people to adapt their patterns for them, perhaps, and then allow them to sell it on, or so, I don't know. But I think it's really unfair to expect the individual to have to size it to every conceivable, because there's always going to be someone left out, because you can't cover everyone.
Well, here's the thing. And it stops designers from designing, saying, hey, you could be a tiny little petite size 0, and says they want to design something for small girls because there aren't as many patterns for tiny girls. And that's all they design it for. And then they're getting yelled at because that pattern isn't available in larger sizes, but that wasn't the intent. I think you have to give the designer credit for their intent on who they're designing for. And also, they choose a silhouette. And they try to size that to the sizes that will work for that silhouette. And not every size is going to work for that silhouette. So that's why they might not do it in 5 and XL or
it doesn't look good.
You can't get that silhouette. And just because somebody wants to knit the pattern,
it's not going to look good.
It's not going to look good. So why should you design something that's not going to look good? And
then they'll be bitching,
and then they're going to complain because it doesn't look good.
Right.
Well, I've
because
just
designed, it's not going to work.
A poncho that Morgan, surprise, surprise, is going to be testing. It's a Aran weight poncho though, so it's going to be a quick knit, hopefully. Now it's got stars on the front of it, and as I was designing it, I was thinking this is going to, if this was one of their pattern makers, I don't know, petite knits or whatever, I know that in the future the next part about size inclusivity is going to be that they will expect the motifs to change size as well. So this stars, if I go down a size, they'll expect the stars sizes to shrink rather than keeping the same stitch pattern, but making the garment smaller or bigger. Do you know what I'm saying? So they'll literally they'll want everything to be in relation to each other, because they'll say, oh, the pattern doesn't look the same on big bodies as it does on small bodies, you know, and that'll be next.
That's the reason why several patterns I have that I have never designed, because of that, because I can't make them. And even Hohi, I remember not too long ago, she had a design that she was working on, but she couldn't make the pattern motif work in different sizes. So she, I don't know if she ever got back to it and finished it, but she stopped because she couldn't get it to, you know, work.
Well, what a shame that people won't be able, you know, even people who could have used that pattern, you know, can't knit it because, you know, and the other thing, how many plus size people actually knit sweaters? Because the thing is, one of the points I have is that I'm always hot. You know, I'm big, I'm almost always hot. You know, I couldn't wear a sweater for long inside. You know, it's got to be outside, where I know other people wear sweaters all day long, you know. And also, it takes a lot longer to knit a sweater for a bigger size. And the thing that I'm learning, and what's going to kill me with that lock Karen, is what I've learned about my own style of knitting is that I prefer pieced knitting, because it's smaller pieces that I can manage easier. Whereas when it's one huge big piece at my size, it's overwhelming sometimes, the amount of stitches, you know, and then it takes a bit of the enjoyment out of it. So but that's just my personal taste, obviously. But that is the trend, isn't it, to have seamless knitting these days, where everything's done in one piece.
Yeah, I think it really depends on what it is. I don't like seaming, but that's just me. But I can see the benefits for certain designs where it makes sense. Yeah. But it just, I don't wear pullovers. I wear cardigans because layering, you can take them off because hot flashes, and you can take a cardigan off. And most of mine are fingering to DK. I don't generally wear heavier because it doesn't get cold here. And so I don't need heavier, but I like cardigans better than pullovers.
BS has asked a really, not asked a question, she's made a really good point here, where she's saying she always wants to ask size inclusive people, aren't you a good enough knitter to customize the pattern to your size? Well, here's the thing, right? I'm, you know, before I even considered designing stuff for other people, I worked out what my size is in, and I could make just a standard sweater in my size, no problem at all. And there's no reason I can't take the elements from another pattern and put them on that. You know, there is effort involved. I know there's effort involved.
But see, that's a skill. Busy or whatever. That's a skill people don't want now. They don't want to have to learn that skill of how to modify or make something fit for themselves. They want pre-made patterns that's just going to miraculously fit everybody, because they don't. Because it used to be patterns usually only came in one or two sizes, and basically you were supposed to have the skills to adapt them. And now people don't want to do that work. And that's fine. If you don't want to, then knit a basic pattern. If it fits you, it fits you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But don't go after the designer, because the designer doesn't owe you anything. You know.
Well, Ithilwin, I don't know how you say that name. She said, or he said, she doesn't have the skills to learn. But the thing is, nobody does initially anyway. You tend to learn those kind of skills when you have to do it. You know, you learn as you make your mistakes to do it.
Well, and you can find it on YouTube too. There's so many tutorials. Like if you want to know how to increase, you know, the bust section, or how increase the length, or do waist shaping, there's so many tutorials out there. That's how I learned, just hit or miss and watching tutorials. I have never been to a knitting class or anything. I learned from YouTube. But I'm just talking about the basic skills. Like, you know, okay, here's a sock pattern. I have a wider foot. How am I going to make this sock pattern fit mine? Whereas before, knitters used to just, you know, that was a skill they had. Seamstresses didn't get patterns in more than one size.
I was just about to say, I see this in sewing too.
Yeah, and I get having. I get, you know, wanting to provide information, but I don't like getting called out because you haven't put every single possible computation that's out there. You know, there's got to be to a point where the knitter has to take some responsibility for the project. That if it works or doesn't work, the knitter has to take some kind of responsibility for that and not put it all on the designer. Because even the best pattern in the world is not going to fit everybody if you just knit it as is, because everybody's bodies are different. So.
And you literally learn by making the mistakes, don't you? Because you can guarantee every knitter has made a sweater that doesn't fit.
I mean, there's so many designs out there that I've looked at that I just pass by because they don't come in my size. And I don't feel like adapting. And my attitude is, well, I'll find something similar that's my size I can adapt. But I don't get mad at the designer for not making it in my size. I figure they had a reason and move on.
Right.
Well, you know what else is interesting? Is that there's been, a couple of times there's been men on there saying, there needs to be more patterns for men. And the same people that are demanding, patterns for fat women, because it's women that want these fat patterns, not the men so much, are saying that men should learn to design their own sweaters. And it's like, well, hang on, if men have got to design their own sweaters, surely bigger people have to design their own sweaters too. The two things are the same thing, aren't they? You can't, like one and not the other.
I would say if you're new and you don't know how to adapt a sweater, I would start with like a flax or flax light that comes in like 15 different sizes. And then a lot of times they'll have suggestions and you can look at it and say, okay, and hold it up to a favorite shirt that fits well and see the differences and say, okay, this is wider at this point. So when I get to that point in the sweater, I need to make it wider. Or there's more room in the armhole, so I need to make more rows in the armhole.
I tell you,
figure it out that way.
Sorry, I'm going to plug this. Don't know what she's like this person, but I really like this book, and I've been looking at it again because of talking about Gansey's.
What book is that?
It's called Knitting Ganseys.
Okay, it's backwards.
I can't. Oh, is it backwards? Oh, sorry. Right, it's by Beth Brown Reinsel, and it's called Knitting Ganseys. And the reason why I like this book is it teaches you how to knit a sweater, but doing it, let me see if I can find the picture. Sorry, I didn't prepare for this because I didn't know. But as you learn, it's obviously backwards, so you just have to look at the picture. You just knit it's not even a baby sweater, it's a tiny sweater. And what you do is as you go through the chapters, she talks about how you do the cast on. And then you do the mini baby cast on. And then you knit so much of it. And then it teaches you how to do underarm gussets. And it teaches you how to do the sleeves, how to do saddle shoulders, and so on and so on and so on.
It's like a sock book, yeah.
Yeah. And by the end of it, you can make a mini version. And then it teaches you how to scale that up to your own size. So it's actually very good. And there's also standard patterns in the back if you can't be bothered to do all of that. And the other good thing about this is, I've made some notes on the back there for my sizing. And then when you, now I'm saying this, I can't find them. Where are they? Here we go. And it's just full of, all the patterns that you could possibly use to make your own Gansey, basically. But you can still use this book to make a standard sweater. All the information for a standard one is in that. I'm sure there's better books out there, but that's been useful to me.
Yeah, Amy Herzog has a good sweater knitting book as well. Hey, Liz.
I have that book. It's called Fit to Flatter. I think she's done some other ones too. But she goes step by step through it. But see, she
Spanish lady as well who's done one
does them in pieces for the structure. Yeah, and I get that. But
I would say if you're plus size, go with piece knitting because I think there's a reason. It's going to be easier to manage. It's not as many stitches, and also when you're bigger, you do actually need the structure of the seams sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Like I'm wondering with this that I'm knitting, I've got a feeling that when I put it on, I'm going to regret not putting a fake seam in it because I was going to do the Elizabeth Zimmerman fake seam, where you crochet up every other stitch just to give it a bit of, structure there.
Yeah.
But we'll see when it's done. I don't know. God, look at us being a proper knitting channel. Oh
yeah,
my God.
I know. Well, this new cardigan I have actually doesn't have seam. Well, it's not seamed together, but there's a lot of where you pick up off of a cast on, so it's got that inherent seam in it.
Yeah.
So it's a seamless knit, but there are seams in there that hold the structure.
Yeah, because that works just as well. A pickup is a really good thing, isn't it? Yeah. I've learned that from the number knitting book, because all of that is picking up. And did I tell you I bought that book? I've now.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so there was a couple of days where it was a bit hairy because neither of us knew the sender, and I didn't know whether it was ever going to actually get here. But it arrived in about 3 days. Yeah, so I'm now the proud owner of a book that I can't afford. And I'll probably be paying it off for months to go.
Yeah, but if you knit, it's one that you'll keep, and you like the math of it, so you're going to keep referring to that book. So
I know I would have regretted it. I could have done with it being a bit later in the year when I would have had the money to buy it, but this early in the year. But it's like, oh. But I've got it now. I'm glad I've got it. I don't regret it.
So just forget it. Yeah, that
money never existed.
Well, I mean, anybody with the yarn stash, it's the same thing, you know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I'm gonna. I'm not going to donate yarn for prizes so much this year. I think I'll donate, books, to the different ones that you like the Sockmatician book.
Yeah.
Oh, are you gonna do it though? Are you gonna physically post it? Because that might sting in postage, or are you gonna do it?
No, I'll do ebooks probably.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Because then I can just order them and have them go to whoever.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get yarn for people anymore, and yarn's expensive, and a book like that is, books are something that you'll keep and refer to, reference books. So.
Yeah. And that Sockmatician book is amazing.
I know. I really need to sit back and figure out how to.
It's almost too much, isn't it? It's like it's intimidating, isn't it?
But he's got the videos though. If you didn't have the videos, it would be.
Yeah.
And he's so positive. Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing I like about Nathan. He's very much like Stephen West in that you can do this. It's no problem. You can do this. It's like there's never a hesitation. He just automatically got that positivity that anyone can get this.
Before that pattern was released, I bought his, I think it's called Triple Jack pattern, which is the Union Jack, but it's done in triple knitting. And I bought it because I just love that design anyway, because it's obviously British. And I contacted him after because there was something I didn't quite understand. And it was me being stupid. It wasn't the pattern. And he replied, and he went into incredible detail of how it would work for me with my style of knitting. And I was just like, wow. Because I'm a Portuguese knit, you see, and it's using 3 yarns. And I asked him a simple question about how would I manage the yarns with my style of knitting. And he didn't even necessarily know that answer, but he went to a lot of effort to reply. And I think he would do that for anybody, because I don't think he's not a fan of mine, I don't think. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was because it was me. So he's such a good explainer, a good teacher. What he says, it makes sense.
Yeah. Cheryl says that other good book is the Knitter's Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters.
Is that Ann Budd?
I have that.
Yeah, I think that's Ann Budd. Yeah. I might have that one.
She doesn't do size inclusivity, if that's what you're looking for. She only goes to a certain size.
Well, it's an old book.
I think Ann Budd expected people to build their skills.
Go on a diet.
I have a feeling she and Elizabeth Zimmerman expected people to learn how to knit,
Oh, wow. Can we just get Elizabeth Zimmerman's take on this whole thing, please? That would be amazing.
Well, I did make her percentage sweater and it worked for me. But now, looking back, I think it probably wouldn't work for everyone because of the neck thing. But I think I was just lucky and it worked. But I bet if I was bigger, it wouldn't. Because everything is a percentage of your waist measurement. And not everybody's necks get fatter and fatter and fatter as they get fatter, do they?
No.
Oh, God. Elizabeth Zimmerman, someone's asking, what would you think now? She'd have been cancelled. Elizabeth
Zimmerman. Long time ago.
She'd have been cancelled for living in Germany during the Nazi occupation in Germany. She lived there right up until the war. She married a German. She'd have been cancelled, no problem whatsoever.
Yep.
You can't be an opinionated knitter these days.
No. Sure you can. You just have to have the right opinion.
She'd be one of us. She'd be in our gang, I think.
You just have to have the right opinion. That's what cracked me up on Craftsnark when they were going after people for calling out Craftsnark on their stream. And they're like, I really liked it. And I do. I like Craftsnark because you do find out about like scammers and frauds and that kind of thing. And I think it's really good for that. But for some of them to claim that it doesn't get personal and they don't attack people, that kind of cracked me up. I'm like, I know at least 3 people who were banned, and just because they had a different opinion. So, that I thought was funny. You know,
That's
they're
Reddit,
like, oh no,
though. Reddit's.
oh, I
like
know,
that,
but it
yeah.
cracks me up how they're patting each other on the back about how
Yeah.
considerate and you know,
Look how nice.
polite they are to each other. And I'm like, are you reading the same thing I'm reading? Because
I felt like if I hadn't been banned, I would have just taken a snapshot, not even
Mhm.
just at me, but some of the nastiest things I've read on there that they've said about people, and just put it on and said, "Are you still these lovely people you seem to think you are?" You know.
Mhm.
well, it's I think people like that feel like they have the right to be the arbiters
Yeah.
of what's allowed and what's not allowed. And
that's why they
that's
hate
not how
us
the
so
world
much,
works.
because we are completely out of their jurisdiction, aren't we? And they can't control us, and that's why.
Well, I think there's a lot more of us than they realize. Just because we're
Yeah.
not vocal.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people who just do their thing, knit their knits, and don't get involved in the stuff and don't virtue signal. And I don't think they realize that. I think there's a lot of people
also,
out there that can't be bothered with the shenanigans.
I'm going to drop a little hint, but it's not a hint, but I'm just going to say there are a couple of people they think are their friends who are my patrons. Let's just say that a couple of high profile people who are amongst them, but they may be patrons just to spy. There is that potential. But knowing these people, I just don't think they could be bothered, to be fair. I don't think they're the type that would do that. So a lot of people are more inclined to think like we do. It's just whether they'll say anything or not. The difference is, I think Elizabeth Zimmerman did do gauge swatching, though. I think she did.
Yeah, but she was very much, knit it. Go out there and knit,
But she knew a gauge swatch.
but that's Tabitha's thing too, Here's the basic, go knit it, and that is the old style of pattern design. Because clearly, if you look at those 40s and 50s patterns, not every woman out there had the figures of the models. So for them to, be able to knit these patterns, they had to have the skills to modify them because it's only in 1 or 2 sizes, and they're all.
Wasn't Elizabeth Zimmerman like the first person that sort of said knitting is what you want it to be? Because prior to that, there were people like in England, there was a guy called James Norbury who was like the knitting guru before Elizabeth Zimmerman came along, and he was very, very strict in how you were supposed to knit. If you didn't put the needle under your arm, you needed to relearn. He put that in his book. You are not knitting correctly unless the needle is under your arm. You only use one hand, and and all that. And it was like, what? And I think Elizabeth Zimmerman was a bit of a antidote
free
to that
spirit,
kind of,
yeah. And said she's the Julia Child of knitting.
Yes.
Oh, Julia Child was the cook, wasn't she? Was she?
Yes.
A cook?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Who would just be done with something and fling it over her.
Yeah.
My mother said that when my brother was a toddler, to keep him occupied, she would turn on Julia Child's cooking show, and back then it was in black and white, and he thought it was the funniest thing because she was always so happy and drinking the cooking wine, and he loved it. He would just sit there and laugh at her and just.
If you liked her, you need to look up Fanny Craddock. It's not a made-up name. Fanny Craddock was the British cook going through the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and oh my God, she was terrifying. She was the most terrifying woman you have ever seen in your life. Seriously, look her up because it's funny.
Julia Child's previous career was terrifying. She worked for the OSA. She
was a spy.
She was a spy. She's also helped develop the first shark repellents. She was part of the group that did that too during the war.
Yeah, she was fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of technical knowledge to be so chill. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true about everything, though, isn't it? My friend once said, because I've always been a shit dancer. When we used to go out, he always say, "Oh, you can't dance." He'll sit down. And it's like, "Yeah, thank God, because I can't dance." And she said to me, "You have to be a good dancer to be able to piss about dancing. If you dance foolishly, silly, you have to know what you're doing to be able to do that. Otherwise, you can still see that you don't know how to dance. You know what I mean? I think that's true of anything, isn't it? When you can mess around with it, that's because you know the basic rules of it.
I mean, and I get that a lot of people just want the knitting handed to them where they can just sit and knit. They don't have to do any mental work with it. They just want to have a pattern, sit in it, and it's going to fit them perfectly. No, but you're realistic. You're realistic, Therese. A garment pattern's not necessarily going to fit.
I mean, I don't want it.
Well, I know, but you also but you don't bitch about it when it's not.
Well, not in public.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, because it's like I see all these patterns and they're like knit the arm to 19 and a half stitches, and then like, okay, that would be down past my fingers and
Right.
would be too short for my daughter.
Right. So of course you're gonna, yes.
You know.
But the issue is, isn't it? It really, we need more pattern designers to actually go back to that old style, you know, of knit this until it reaches your wrist.
That's
you know,
what I do. That's what I
Yeah.
do on my sleeve patterns on my other cardigan and this new one. It's knit until 4 inches before you want the end of the sleeve to be, and then start the ribbing, or 2 inches or whatever, because I don't know how long everybody's arm is. And
Right.
Yeah.
you know,
Which
so
you
I
would
just say
think
knit
with
until
the
then.
internet now and YouTube, you'd think we would be doing that more often, but it's almost like we've gone the opposite way. The more we've got the ability to see these things being done, the less we're willing to do it. You know, it's odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Knitting to me is therapy, but it's also, I like learning new things.
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody else. I mean, some people just like to do garter stitch and they don't want to learn anything else, and that's fine. If that's all they want to do, that's great. But then don't complain if you can't find everything in a garter stitch.
Yeah,
you know?
it made me laugh because I've done that cowl design that's it's got long floats, the black and white one. I think it was Joe said, "Oh, I'm not knitting that because there's more than 5 float things to carry." And I put the thing on about the ladderback jacquard. Now I can't understand this why everybody isn't thinking, yes, let's learn ladderback jacquard, you know. Whereas most people are like, no, I don't want to. I want it simple, you know.
I do want to learn it. I just haven't sat down and done it. Anne says it's difficult when you're knitting for other people because you have to measure well, and that's true. Because you're not, you know, it's not like you have yourself there. You can try it on and adjust, and that's fine. I totally get that. I don't like the people calling out pattern designers because they haven't personalized a pattern for them. And it seems like people aren't happy with just a pattern. They want the pattern personally designed to fit their shape in all cases and all forms. And it's never going to happen because Anne's really tall. I'm 5'2". You know, there's always going to be a difference in length of things because that's just the nature of people. And you can't expect a designer to make it personal for you unless you pay a designer to say, here's my measurements, make a personal pattern for me. And that's a different thing.
And the latest thing on Craftsnark is that how dare pattern designers release free patterns? And if they do, you're obliged to pay.
Again? We go through this every couple months.
Free patterns.
Now, if I was on there, if I was still allowed to go on, I'd go on and say, well, what about Block Magazine? We give away all our patterns for free. You should be paying me for them.
Well,
they soon change the tune.
Anne doesn't want to learn ladder back. Sorry, Neil. Here's the thing, though. Free patterns is how you learn it. Because that's how you decide if that's something you want to do. You decide what you want to do. Same with crochet.
And also, people are more forgiving if you've made a mistake in a pattern and it slips through because you haven't charged them for it. They bought the yarn, I know, but that's the risk, isn't it? You know, a free pattern generally might not.
And even if it has mistakes, you know, you're like, it's free. But to me, it just gets mad when they say, oh, there shouldn't be free patterns because designers deserve, you know, to be paid a living wage. So the designer doesn't get to choose to give their stuff away for free. To me, that's, you know,
what that will do is kill designing. It will kill the industry. And they don't realize that.
Every yarn company gives out free patterns of their yarn.
Are these people picketing libraries? Because until they are, I don't want to hear it. You know, they'll tell you go to, you know, or they would have told you go to the library. They say Google it. They said go to the library, get a book on name something. How many times have we ever said that? You know, as long as there's libraries, there's free patterns.
Well, not only that,
absolutely. Yeah.
It does not encourage people to learn the craft if they have to pay for everything up front. If you can get a hook and a ball of yarn or a pair of needles and a ball of yarn, you can learn it with free patterns. And then decide if you want to pay for patterns. I don't even think I bought patterns for like the first, you know, a long time after I started knitting before I bought patterns because I used free ones to learn with.
Right.
We need to cancel Anne because she's giving away her pattern for free.
I know, Anne, you're terrible.
You're making it hard for the rest of us.
She's right. Everybody wants something for free until they don't, until they do. And it killed me that Woolly Wormhead was the one complaining about the free patterns because she has like 90 free patterns out there.
So she's kind of
paid for nothing with a begging bowl every time. Oh.
She's interesting. I'll just say that.
But she has
a lot of issues with that person. A lot.
She has a lot of free patterns though, so that's kind of hypocritical. I'm sorry.
But she's okay because she's disabled and she's non-binary or whatever she is, so she can do that. It's only, the able-bodied, heteronormative white people that aren't allowed to do these things. Well, that's kind of the general gist these days, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the same people that want free everything. But, and it's great that they want designers to get paid. That's fine. But then they also want designers to do everything for them, but not pay them for that too, because they want designers to get paid enough, but they don't want patterns to be too expensive.
That damn capitalism.
It's like, and capitalism, they all go up against capitalism because that's the problem with all the craft patterns are bad. Yeah. Because people decide to monetize their craft. So it's wrong to enjoy your craft so much you would like to make it a living out of it. It's like, how dare you?
It's just like it's hard to keep up with it all, isn't it? Because there's just something every bloody week. There's something. Oh, that's so dangerous. That's so problematic.
I know. I need to knit one of her free patterns. I need to knit her nerdrotic beanie.
Yes.
So I can have it before I go to the meetup in April. So I'll have to knit that. But
there's a meetup in April. What meetup in April?
The Friday Night Tights people are going to be in Vegas for their Vegas meetup. So my daughter and I are going this year. Yeah, that's true, BS. They complain about capitalism while typing in their iPhones.
Yeah.
I mean, we chat in our private chats, but we don't spend all day just in our private chats. We pop in and out. But these people on Reddit, they write these, huge, long posts
They're
complaining about that. I'm like,
all day.
And I sit there and think, how many rows could I have knit in the time it took them to do this?
Unless they're using a voice-controlled computer that's typing what they say. Maybe that's what they're doing and knitting.
But they're still on it. They're still...
Oh, there was one a while back, and I know she was talking about me, and she hates me, this particular woman on Craftsnet. And I think it was on one of our shows, or was it... I say one of ours, one of your shows, I should say, where I was talking about pattern designing and how I bought... I can't find it now. I bought a sewing pattern to help me learn how to grade.
Right.
And she made a big comment about this on Craftsnet, saying, it didn't say it was me that had said it, but said,
I wondered if it was
idea.
You. When I read that, I wondered, because I remember when you had done that.
What she clearly doesn't understand is that's how it was done originally. That's how knitting design patterns were made, by going to drafted, drawn patterns. So it's like... You just because you don't think that's a good idea doesn't mean it's a stupid idea, lady. Whatever her name is, I can't think. Victoriana Blue, that's her name. She has a real being up on it about me.
Well, it's like if you want to, knit a sweater that fits, take out your favorite shirt that you like the fit of.
Yeah,
and
the same principle works, doesn't it? I mean, what she was trying to say is that you've got to take into account the stretch of the fabric. Well, you do with a sewing pattern. Every sewing pattern has the whole fabric stretch bit. Don't you have a little measurement?
Yeah, for wovens and for knits.
What it is there's a lot of people who like to feel like they're experts in things that they're not. So they like to put out their opinion on things with the gravitas that they're right because they know, when in reality they don't. And there's a lot of that online where people think that they're experts and they can tell other people what they can and cannot do and how to do something. And there's 50 different ways to crochet, every kind of crochet stitch out there. There's, and there's 50 different ways to hold your crochet hook.
Which brings us back to the beginning, doesn't it? With 50 different ways of saying what a crochet stitch is.
I used to get yelled at. I got yelled at in public a few times for how I held my crochet hook.
Really?
Yes, because I hold it like a knife. And
that's how I hold it.
To me, it's way faster, and that's how I learned.
Oh, it's my knife and pencil, right?
My grandmother was left-handed, and I'm right-handed.
I hold it like
so. I learned opposite of her. So that's how I held my hook, and I would have old ladies coming up to me in public telling me I was doing it wrong. And I'm like, looks
Yeah,
right to
mind your own
me.
business, lady. Get out of here.
The stitch, I just, well, okay, thank you for telling me. And then I just
So
keep on doing what I was doing.
that reminds me of teaching maths when I was teaching in a college. For a brief period, I taught maths, even though I'm not particularly good at it. And I taught this lad how to do long division the way I was taught it at school. I don't know, you know what long division is. The older people will know. And there was another teacher in the room, and she was shouting, no, you're doing it wrong. So I said, what do you mean I'm doing it wrong? And she said, no, you're not allowed to do that method anymore because it isn't physically possible to do that with objects. Anyway, I said, like if you minus something, you can't carry the amount. That's what they're saying, So anyway, I looked at the lad's work and he got the answers right off his own volition and I said, well, he's got the answer right. And she said, but he still can't use it. Said, no, if you get the right result, it doesn't really matter how you get there.
I got my son in trouble when he was in like 2nd or 3rd grade because I taught him how to do math in his head.
Wow, how awful of you, Liz.
And he wasn't writing it down, showing his work because he would do the, in his head instead of whatever the new math was there. They had to, and I'm like, but that's how I learned it. Subtraction, addition in your head. And no, I got yelled at by his teacher because he wasn't doing it the correct way, even though his answers were all right.
Yeah, well, one of the
he has to show the work in 2nd grade. You show your work.
Yeah.
No, you show your work in higher math. Yeah.
But it's the same with what you said about the crocheting, isn't it? As long as you get a crocheted piece of fabric, it doesn't matter how you hold
right.
the
yeah, exactly. Diana said the same way. She thinks it's faster too, the way I hold it. And that's why I continental knit, because I hold the yarn the same exact way when I knit as when I crochet in my left hand. When
when you see those old photos of the lady, I say ladies, I know men knit as well. But I hold my needles like that, like knives. But then there's I don't even know which hand they do it in, but they hold their needle like that, don't they? Like a pen. But I just think, well, where does the knitting go? When you knit from one to, where does it go? Because it can't go over the back of your hand, can it? Do you know what I mean? Because that is the way some people knit, isn't it? Like it's a pen.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then
do I sound weird? Apparently I sound weird. Oh, do you know why? The microphone was up near the ceiling. Just do I sound better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, it just amazes me how people, you can't do that, and then capitalism is what's wrong, and and it's like, why can't I crochet this way? And then and I'm not just talking about Reddit, it's all over the internet. People are so critical. Their way's the only way, and there's many ways to get the same stitches that look the same. And if that way works for you, I say use whatever way works. But I don't judge people on how they hold their needles or hooks. If it works for them, then hey, good for you.
I'm probably the person that would say, what are you doing? You look weird. But I wouldn't sort of say you're doing it wrong.
I'd be more like to look at it and think, wow, would that way work better for me or not? And if not, then, I might learn from it. But it just kills me that people are so...
See what Anne's put.
Well, of course, Anne's way is the only way because her stitches are perfect. Anne's perfect and her stitches tell Joe that.
My way or the highway.
And now their other big thing is, it's a women's crafts always seem to be, put down and stuff. And I'm thinking, men used to knit more than women did.
In
a lot of countries.
America, yeah.
In a lot of countries, especially the Scandinavian countries, men have always knit. So to say it's just a women's craft and it's looked down on because of that is wrong.
I think women did knit as well, but I think it was I think women knitted for the family, whereas the men knitted to make the money, didn't they? I think that was the difference. Same with weaving. Originally, men were the weavers, in this country anyway. But then it kind of switched at some point for some reason. Don't know why. Yeah, because both my grandparents, grandfathers, both of them knitted. They had to knit because of World War II. They all had to learn.
Everybody knit for the war. All those socks and things. I see all the patterns on Pinterest, the World War II knitting patterns. The best
hat pattern I've ever knitted is a World War II watch cap. It was perfect, and it's the only one that has ever been perfect.
Well, they were giving people the sock machines to crank the socks too during World War II.
Oh wow!
They would give them out.
Because they had to give them back though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They had to melt them for bullets and stuff.
At one point, but I think they would give them out, and you had to make so many socks a week and turn them in.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool because that's how people helped the war effort.
But I bet they really resented it when they had to.
They had to give them back. They wanted to keep them, I think.
Oh yeah, I think I'd be trying to stash that away somewhere. I think I keep toying with the idea of saving up for one, but I know there's no point because I can't wear a heel that is made on one of those. I have to have a heel flap and gusset. So I just think, is there any point having one if I'm not going to be able to knit? I could do other people's socks, but I don't do that much.
Neil, you just have to invent an afterthought heel flap and gusset, and then you'll be there.
I could do the flap. The flap's no problem, is it? Because it's just you, but it's the. Actually, I suppose you could do it and just take it off. That could you? You could take it off and knit the heel turn, couldn't you? And then put it back, or would that be too much?
I don't know.
BS is saying she's got one and you can cut in a heel, but is it a short row heel? Because they're no good for certain shapes of feet. Freak feet like mine.
Oh, she said the World War II Museum still does it. She will write about it for Blocked.
Oh,
so
yes,
Amy
please.
will write about it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
She said you can use it when you come to visit.
Brilliant.
When you go to Minnesota in the winter. People need socks.
Well, we need to do both. We need to have a dual thing, a Minnesota and then Vegas thing, I think.
But not a short row heel.
Oh, it's not a short
Sorry.
row. Okay.
No, but you could crank the leg on it and then just do the heel gusset and knit the foot, and that still saves you half the time.
Can you do an afterthought heel and gusset? I know you can do the short row one, but
I don't know if you can do an afterthought gusset and heel flap.
Yeah, but I don't have the money to buy one anyway, so I'm just dreaming about it. It's either come to America or buy a sock machine. So
you need to come to America.
I do, because if Putin drops the bomb here, I need to be in America for when that happens. I need to time it just right.
He'll give you a notification.
Yeah, I'll ask Putin to send me a message first. I'm
sure you're on his mailing list. They probably said, "Oh, this guy's banned in the knitting world. He's my kind of guy. He's Nittler." So,
well, oh no, he didn't like Nittler though, did he? He didn't like Hitler. I watched the. Did you watch the Tucker and Vlad show? Did you watch it?
No, I haven't yet.
The first half is very boring. The second half was very interesting.
Evidently, there is an afterthought gusset heel.
Oh, okay.
There's a tutorial on YouTube. Just Google it on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Afterthought heel gusset and afterthought heel flap and gusset. Just Google it on YouTube.
Right.
And there is a tutorial how to do it.
And then I can get rid of all of this.
You'll have
a whole set of them.
You can wear them every day of the week.
People think I've only got one pair of socks, though, won't they?
Poor guy.
Say, no, it's my uniform. I have to wear it every day.
Uniform.
Well, I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm actually thinking that knee warmers are the way to go. And that could be what I knit with this.
Hey, if you need them, go for it. She said, Bia says send her yarn and she'll crank tubes for you.
Oh, cool. Okay.
There you
go.
Be
a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you can play around with them. Jo has a bunch of tubes that she knit that she's not done the heels on, I know.
With a machine or hand knit?
No, she hand knit them. She used to, when we would Zoom, she would sit there and knit tubes. Remember, Therese? She would just sit there and knit all
so
her
she
tubes.
didn't have to think about a heel. Yeah.
Anne says if you knit all your socks the same, it's easier to match them.
That's true. Yeah, this knee thing, I'm not joking. I think there is something in it because a lot of people thought that they were for people kneeling down cleaning, but they're not. It's for people with arthritis in the knees because your knees, when you've got arthritis, really do feel the cold. And that's the only bit of me that has got arthritis, and it's the only bit of me that feels cold. And sometimes it's like, oh, and it makes the pain so much worse for some reason. So I am going to try it. I'm going to give it a go. But there are plenty of really old-fashioned patterns to do.
Yeah, there's a bunch of World War II patterns, I know.
Yeah, they never do it. Obviously, it's going to have to be something cool, but no one's ever going to see it, are they? Well, maybe.
No, you need to knit the knee warmers and then the matching balaclava and the fingerless gloves.
Or should I just make a pair of socks that keep going?
And then just have the set. Oh, that reminds me. You know how they in the 70s they had the granny square pants?
Yeah.
He's got a pair of them. I saw advertised. It's they're pants, but it's fabric that's granny squares.
Oh, right.
It's printed granny squares on fabric.
That'd be cute to make project bags or something.
Yeah,
well, so that means
pants.
it's coming back into fashion, but nobody knows how to do the granny squares. Is that what it is? No.
Well, no, nobody makes granny square pants anymore. I don't think.
Oh,
I
can't imagine. No,
there probably are some on Ravelry.
We need
Anne
to do a knit along to make granny square pants.
I don't think Anne crochets, so that would probably not going to happen. But
it'll have to be Amy from Two Sisters.
She already has a pair. I don't know if she'll want to make another one. So what is your pattern for your red sweater that you're knitting? What pattern are you using?
It's going to be a Gansey. So I'm actually going to make the pattern up myself at the top, but I will be using that book that I showed earlier. I'm going to be using the shape of that and the underarm gusset bits of that, but the actual pattern bit I've not designed yet, but I will do it myself. Because I've been toying with, but I just think, is it a bit silly? You know, when you see these things that are supposedly your name, your clan pattern, and I think, should I do that? And then I think, it's a bit crap, that, isn't it? I don't know.
There's one, I forget who has one. It's Morse code sweater, and she has the chart for the Morse code, and you can put whatever Morse code.
Ooh.
Oh, no, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Or Braille. But as a whole message, so when blind people can come and go along nicely.
Stop touching me. That's what it says.
Yeah, if you can read this, you're too close.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, BS says she's going to crochet me some granny square shorts so I can wear them with my knee warmers. Yeah, I don't think I'll get beaten up at all wearing things like that, will I?
It's like he's going roller skating or something.
Are we going back to disco? Is that it?
Yeah.
Because where else would you wear them? Isabel Kramer. That's it, Yolanda. I was just looking that up. Who did
she did the Morse code one, did she?
Yeah, Morse code. Or no, Valentina Bogdanova also did one, I guess. Oh, hers. I don't know if hers is actual Morse code or she just called it that.
The Pearl code.
Yolanda said the Pearl code. Is that what it's called?
The Pearl code, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, so maybe what I'll do is have one that says all lives matter. It's okay to be white. All of the things we're not allowed to say.
Yeah, and you just pick you pick your words with the Morse code. It's kind of cool, actually. Yeah. And just use pearls. You just use pearls to make it. And there's a Spanish translation.
Anne's put, I thought of doing a holiday sweater with Merry Christmas in Braille on the front and then realised what a terrible, terrible idea that was. Yeah, bit worse for a woman, I think, than for a bloke, isn't it?
Yeah, don't do that.
Only Anne. Oh, Lord.
Where's Joe tonight? Anyway, what's happened to Joe?
She had to do something, so.
Oh, she did say last week, didn't she?
She couldn't make it, so.
No, Joe.
Hopefully she'll be here next week if Tabitha's going to be here.
Oh.
So, Joe can dress like Tabitha again.
The messy
in her
bun.
in her messy bun. See, we got hairstyling last week.
I watched. Yeah,
we do more than knitting on our podcast.
Yeah, we're very versatile.
But yeah, that pearl code one, that's a basic shape too.
Oh.
You can probably use the chart and put it in any sweater.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look at that when we get done.
And, and yeah.
Oh, and Isabel Kramer, she's the one that knit witchcrafty lady tried to cancel, didn't she?
Yeah,
because she said she was
rude to her or something.
Yeah, and failed. She failed abysmally, which is good.
I'm sorry, she probably had talked to 5,000 people already that day, and just enough's enough.
But witchcrafty lady is a lady of color. You see, she should have made extra special.
That's right. She should not have, ignored her. Well, I'm sure she complained to Adela about it. So, is it my imagination, or has anyone else laughed at the fact that people are still buying yarn from Lady Di?
Yes. God. Well, the other thing that made me laugh is, did you see how I was somehow blamed for it?
Yeah.
I know, because of your racist magazine.
It's like, how have I had anything to do with Lady Di?
Because if you weren't so racist, people would not buy from her. But because you pointed out, they're more likely to buy from her. I don't understand that, but
it just doesn't make sense, does it? But how are people still buying from her?
Well, and it's funny because you're racist for pointing out what she did wrong. They're on a thread pointing out what she did wrong.
She did wrong.
Multiple threads about her doing. Yeah, it's like I wrote one article about her. They've just done millions of things.
That's because they haven't forgiven you for the first Adela article, I think.
Yeah.
And because they still hate Christy Glass, so.
Well, I'm thinking of revisiting it as a video, the whole Christy Glass and Adela thing, rather than as a because I think it will reach more of them than the article did.
I don't know. I don't think they'll. All it's going to do is make them feel superior, and then they'll just do a bunch of threads talking about how racist you are.
That's fine.
I don't know. I think
there'll be something else coming up that you can.
There's a lot of people.
There's always something.
When they're given the facts, they're not going to change their opinion because then they have to admit they were wrong. So, so they're going to double down.
Yeah, and Lady Di was the person who actually started the anti-Christy Glass stuff. She was the instigator of that, and then Adela took the torch and ran with it. That's what happened there.
Anne thinks you should because it's great for views, and she supports you.
Well, Anne can come on the show with me when I do it, and she can get some of the hate too.
I'm sure she already gets
I like
them.
To share.
What's her new last name? Because Emma, in the moment, couldn't pronounce Anne's last name, even though they say it in every single episode. Pinkava, yes.
Pinkava.
Well, the funny thing is, Emma has got an unpronounceable name herself. It's Uji Fusa or something. Uji Fushi. So it's like, she should have known better.
Yeah.
Liz is Googling knee warmers. See, you're going to start a trend. But then nobody will see them because you don't see them when you wear them. So everyone's going to.
You could do a new Cal, kneel with knee warmers. Genius.
Next thing you know, there'll be a knee warmer pattern in Blocked.
I'm going to do one now just for the joke of it.
He'll be studying all the old World War II era knee warmers to see which pattern. And you can put more. You can put Morse code on them with messages that nobody will see.
Yeah, and if somebody's feeling my leg under the table, they'll see what they'll be able to read what it says.
Pink Carver sounds like a Hannibal Lecter.
That's about right. Oh, Christine, you don't want me to model my knees. Seriously, you don't.
It's fine. Just Photoshop them. You can make them skinny or bigger, whatever.
Yeah.
Or do
fat men with arthritic knees don't look good. Seriously.
Or you could do AI knees. because that's the new thing.
Yeah.
2 on
It's
each
like-
leg. Yeah.
There was one thread today when people were talking about the AI thing, and they're like, I don't understand, because why people are upset about it. It's because AI steals from existing artwork and existing music to create their things. And like, if you don't, that's the problem with it, that, artists have a problem with, because their work is stolen to create. And there was a Super Bowl commercial that was talking about some company where all these kids who were told they were not successful, they used some AI app to build their businesses. And I'm like, so basically they're still not doing it. The AI is doing it for them, like get an artist to draw the dragon for your story. Don't get AI to draw a dragon for your story, pay an artist.
Right.
Well, I did toy with the idea of getting AI to do a cover for the magazine, but say that it's an AI cover, because I
don't know, that
knew
can be
they
scary.
would go crazy about it on Craftsnart.
That would be cool. That could go so many ways.
World War II patterns should be a theme of Block magazine. Well, yeah, they're because they're out of copyright, aren't they now? Are they?
Yeah, they got to be
I think
public
so.
domain.
Yeah,
I mean, would people like to see that? I don't know. I've been putting
I
in old newspaper articles recently, and we've got some brilliant ones for the murder issue. And it's people that have murdered people with knitting. And it's actually quite cool. That's true. I can. Well, with their needles, or they were murdered while they were knitting, or little things with knitting related things. And some of the stories are great. I think there's only 4 or 5. Anne's put, but Neil, you can really draw and we can really knit. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yep. I just don't always like drawing, though. That's the thing, which is weird, I know. But
which is weird, because you're an artist.
I think what it is, when I went to university, because I did illustration at university the first time I went to university, and one of the teachers there was absolutely horrible. And she was, it won't mean anything to you, but because I'm a northerner and she was a southerner, she didn't understand why I wasn't obsessed with the miners' strike in Yorkshire, and was like, why aren't you interested in that? And it's like, because I'm not from Yorkshire and I'm not a miner. It's got nothing to do with me, And she was just, I don't know, I think she was a bit of a lefty way back then, even before it was a proper thing. And I think she wanted all of her students to be, bashing the drum for something. And I didn't have anything to bash a drum about. I just wanted to draw pictures that I wanted to draw, And she just took all the fun out of drawing. So whenever I draw now, she's still there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Spoiling it a little bit, Sometimes I get the urge to draw, but it's not as often as it used to be.
It's amazing how teachers can either be such a positive influence. There's that teacher that you always remember because they were so beneficial to you, and then there's the one that made you feel like crap.
And for me, I don't know what it's saying for you, it's the stricter the teacher, the more I thought well of them.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It wasn't
teachers.
the nice ones. Yeah.
Yes and no. If they were strict to everybody, then yes. If they were just strict to certain people.
Right, yeah.
When I moved to New Jersey from North Carolina, I had a teacher who was a former nun, and she used to make me read aloud so the kids can make fun of my Southern accent. So I lost my Southern accent as fast as I possibly could, because she would literally make me read aloud all the time just so the kids could make fun of me.
Yeah, that's a bit
because
shitty,
she was just
isn't it?
mean.
I had some bully teachers. Yeah.
And I've had some wonderful teachers that you remember, like my literature, my AP Lit teacher was amazing. She just got us into the words in ways that even someone who loved reading had not seen, great classics. She was an amazing teacher and so much fun. Like, she would let us do crazy things sometimes just to get off steam. Like, one time we were reading plays and she let us mess up who played the parts. So we're reading Shakespeare and guys are playing the female roles and girls are playing the male roles, and just
she was non-binary before there was such a thing as non-binary.
No, just to make the comedies more comedy.
Yeah.
But she's one of those teachers that really made me think in a good way. She's also the one that we read all the major religious works. We read parts of the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah as literature, as not religious works. So we actually studied them from a literature point of view, and that's fascinating to me because how literature, how religion is in literature. You know, if you take the emotion and the passion out of it, when it's just strictly the words and the comprehension of it, it's pretty fascinating.
Oh, we have 3 votes for World War II patterns.
Okay. You know who you should try to interview? Maybe you could interview Engineering Knits and get her to write.
I would love to interview her.
She does all the vintage patterns.
I don't think she would. I think
'cause
she'll reply to me, but I don't think she will. But I will try actually.
Yeah,
I will reach out to her, but I wouldn't be hopeful on that one.
I think she's doing her channel full time now, so probably not, because
I watch her religiously. I really like her channel.
She's very fascinating.
Yeah. Did you watch? I was talking to Annie because did you watch the ones where she grew her own flax and then made it's like all that bloody effort for about this much yarn? It was like, wow.
I know. Or Kathy Karen. Kathy Karen's amazing too. And you guys interviewed her.
Do I know Kathy Karen?
I think she's been on Politically Incorrect Knits, hasn't she, Anne? Didn't you guys interview her?
The name rings a bell, but I'm thinking of Karen Cakes.
No, she's in knitwear. She has a Instagram page that's a history of knitting, and it shows our history of knitting museum or something, and it shows old patterns and stuff. Yeah, and you guys did interview her. I remember she was really fascinating.
Oh, so she might be willing to talk to me then, if she's been on
she's
horrible knitters.
Retro Cloud. Retro Cloud. I don't know that, but yeah, I think it would be fun to do a World War II.
Yeah, and they won't be size inclusive. Be warned.
Well,
one size fits no one them days.
Yeah, well, people learned. They in World War II, a lot of them, would get old sweaters and unravel them and reknit them for the size or to change them, or they made do.
Yeah. It's really funny. I don't know what channel I was watching, but it was completely out of the blue. It was a channel that I wasn't expecting them to be talking about wool on. And there was this young person who was on. When I say young, I mean, young to me, somebody in their late 20s probably. And they were sort of going on about the magical properties of wool. And, as if they'd discovered it. Because nobody uses wool hardly anymore. And they were sort of saying of what things you could do with wool and like not even knitting, but, insulating your loft and things like that. And it's like, wow, if only we'd known of you earlier,
Yeah. Wow. It's like none of these, sheep farmers ever found out the properties of wool. That's like a lot of
I'm going to look her up. I'll look her up.
That's like a lot of the influencers, especially a lot of the crochet influencers. Like they crochet a couple things and suddenly they're an expert and they're doing tutorials and telling people how to do things and like, no knotting
it's
that
the
like that.
Tom
and
Daly effect, isn't it? That's what I consider it. Because he's good at what he does, you know what I mean? But he never does anything in fingering weight, DK weight or anything. It's always the chunkiest thing. So it's quick and easy and
Yeah. He used to
come back when you can knit a sock.
He used to do more fine knitting. Like during the Olympics, a couple of the sweaters were more like DK weight or worsted weight, but he's definitely gotten to the bulkier. He just won 2 world championship medals. He's going back to the Olympics. So, it amazes me that people, all these sudden experts online for things. It's like, oh, you're an expert crocheter. What have you made? Scarves? Okay, great for you.
Yeah, it's definitely there's what do you call it? It's almost like there's a what did they call those things where you started as a kid and you learnt the job? What's it called? Apprenticeship. It's almost like we all are doing an apprenticeship, and it's like you do what you know when you know how to do it. So, like but for me, I can't talk to anyone else, but I'm learning to design. But I started with the simplest things I could think of, and then it gets more complicated. But that's kind of how I see it. But some of these people are staying at that point, aren't they? It's not like they're evolving, really.
Well, it's not even that. It's just they make one or two things and decide I'm going to go online and make money doing this and teaching people how to do this. And it's like, okay, you can do single crochet scarf, but
Yeah.
or they
Some of the
sell a
ones on
pattern.
Craftsnack have been absolutely awful, haven't they? Some of the things that they've shown on there. You know,
And I
I'll give
agree
them
with
that.
a lot.
I'll
I
give
agree
them
with a
credit
lot
on
of
that.
those. You know,
Yeah.
charging $5 for a garter stitch scarf pattern. You know, it's like, really? Because
Well,
that's
one of our, let's say not one of our favorites at all, but one of the knitters that I've featured once or twice in the magazine sells like bath squares, you know, just knitted or crocheted squares and makeup remover squares, and they're not done very well, I'm afraid. I will say that. And she's selling them for like ridiculous amounts of money, and it's like, what? It's not. It's just you're talking like you know, just a square. You know, the old granny's favorite dishcloth square. You know, it's like, and you're selling that for. And they're not attacking her, but you know, there's a reason for that.
I'm sure we know what the reason is too.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, how dare you try to keep someone from monetizing?
Oh wow! Anne said, sorry, just
family.
going back to that lady. She said she has a whole book that nobody will publish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
She's an amazing designer.
That's a bummer, isn't it? Why? I wonder why they wouldn't.
She has amazing designs. Very, very cool.
Oh, is this Kathy Karen?
Kathy Karen, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. I need to. I'm bet I have seen the episode. I must have seen the episode because I've watched all of their episodes, but I forget sometimes. I've got a terrible memory. I'll look her up.
Yeah. She's got tons of different designs. She's been, you know, knitting a really long time.
Yep.
Was she cancelled as well?
I don't know if she was canceled. She's got a bunch of books too that are published.
Right. I'm just wondering why she was on Anne and DK's show.
I don't know.
Because usually
Probably.
they're cancelled, aren't they? Not always, but usually.
Or they will be after.
Well, yeah.
Because Craftsnack will work hard at it, you know. How dare we have fun and be on each other's shows? That's like anathema to them, is to be on other people's shows. It's like, why does that upset you? Are you afraid our words will spread?
I think I know why. I think what they don't realize is that, I know it's all online, you know, I'm not naive, but we are all pretty much in contact most of the week, aren't we? We might not all day on there, but we are.
No.
We're in touch. And so we often just have a few words with each other during the week. So we are actually friends. Whereas I think the people that they claim to be friends with are people they're just doing financial collaborations with for that particular product or whatever. Yeah. And I don't think they really are friends. They're just doing it to either get close to somebody who's very popular, or there's another reason for it. Whereas, and that's why they're not all on each other's shows. I mean, some of them do, don't they? But they're not all doing it.
She says Kathy's too big to cancel. She was published by Vogue Knitting after coming on their show.
Right. Okay.
Nice.
You should talk to her.
Yeah, well, I'll try.
I mean, that's the thing is, we are friends though.
Yeah.
And we encourage each other, and you know, we learn from each other, and we have fun going on each other's shows. It's fun.
And we argue. We argue as well. We, you know, it's like real friendships, isn't it? It's not.
I mean, we call it.
You know,
we call each other out, but we agree to disagree a lot of times.
Well, I think that's the other thing, isn't it? It's okay to not agree with someone, because one of the things that I've noticed is there's this weird thing that if one person says something that somebody doesn't like or upsets someone, that somehow is their character for everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like if I say something, and when you're doing a live as well, the other thing is like, this is why I don't worry too much about people saying things that aren't quite right. Because when you're doing a live, you don't plan it. You speak as you are, like you would with your friends in the pub or in the living room with your friends or whatever. And I might slip up and say something that really upsets Therese. And Therese then has the choice of either saying I'm a really evil bastard person forever, you know, and that is me. Or she can have a go at me off air or on air or whatever. Or she can think, oh, well, he said it because it was in that moment and, you know, it's live and unscripted. And you're just thinking, you know, I don't know what I'm saying now. It's just coming out of my mouth, you know. But I think there's this easy jump to labeling people as horrible. And it's happened within our groups as well. It doesn't just happen outside.
Well, there's also there's a Reddit that was shut down or it's closed or whatever, but they refer to it the BEC, the bitch eating crackers.
Oh,
and it's this phenomenon, if you don't know, and I experienced it with people. You don't like somebody so that everything they do gets on your nerves. You know, and there's that joke about, look at her over there. That bitch is over there eating crackers. You know, like, because you don't like them, they're going to get on your nerves no matter what they do.
And everyone in their thread is supposed to feel the same way. That's the thing. It's like
Well, we had a strange, I'm not going to go into details, but I know we both, Liz, I don't know whether you did as well, but we had an incident where somebody contacted us individually, privately, wanting us to distance from someone because they had a bit of an issue with that person. And I was quite shocked about that because I was thinking, well, this is like cancellation kind of behavior. You know, it's like if you've got an issue with someone, you have that issue out with that person. You know, don't try and then cancel.
We had something very similar who wanted us to do that, and because someone would not kick somebody out of their personal chat, and didn't want the rest of us to associate. And, you know, I'm sorry if somebody has their own chat on Telegram, you follow their rules to be in it.
Right.
You know, and
well, I had an incident. I won't go into any details. But
we've never asked anybody to cancel anybody, and we never will.
Yeah.
Who you choose to buy from, who you choose to support, that's up to you. We would never tell somebody to cancel somebody.
Yeah, a while back, we're in multiple different groups where a lot of us are in some groups and not in other groups and so on. So there's in one of the other main groups I'm in, somebody did actually really offend me. And I was really pissed off because I thought, you cheeky so-and-so, you know. But that person, I don't expect anybody else to take my upset, you know, my offense on board, because that's me, you know, and it could be my misunderstanding or whatever, you know, and I understand people get hurt by things, but why are we talking about this? It's my fault, this isn't that.
But you have to take it with a grain of salt, because you have to take it, it's okay to disagree,
but not only that, they might not mean it the way they said it. I mean, the internet's hard because there's no inflection, there's no, you know, you don't get clues, facial clues, you know, so they may say something and they mean it totally a different way, but the internet, you can't tell.
To me, it's like the Married with Children thing. All the people who are trying to ban Married with Children, remember the whole parent campaign to ban the TV show Married with Children back in the day? Oh yeah, and one mom
I used to love that show.
Campaign to ban Married with Children because it was terrible, you know, it shouldn't be on in primetime TV. And my thing was, if you don't want your kids to watch it, change the channel.
Right.
Just don't watch it. Don't keep other people from watching it because you don't like it.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the #1 show on Fox or whatever. So her.
Which is always the way it works, isn't it?
It's the internet. You're not face to face, and it's a lot easier to be mean when you don't have to face the person when you're saying it. And it's a lot easier to get hurt because you're not seeing the person's face when you talk. Like I tell my kids, their generation, they text more. They don't call people. They text everything. So they don't.
Oh, have I told you about my niece? So before
they don't interact face to face.
Yeah, I've got to tell you this story. Before the family disowned me and my mum for voting Brexit, because none of my family will speak to me or my mother because of it, which is why we're kind of quite close, me and my mum. But
because your 2 votes is what put it over. Your 2 votes is what put it over, clearly.
We destroyed my niece's future, you see. Well, anyway, I was texting with my niece before this happened, and because I used the proper grammar, I put a full stop at the end of the sentence. She apparently was hysterical because I'd full stopped her. Now, I didn't realize, but this is a thing with young people now, that if you put a full stop at the end of a sentence on a text, it means that's the end of the conversation. You know, don't reply to this.
I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know. And I've got to the point now where if you notice in my chats or even, on Telegram, I tend to avoid putting a full stop there now because I'm worried that someone
But that's not right.
I know it's a grammar thing, isn't it? But this is how the texting thing has changed. So even the way you say things, and that's how easy it is to upset someone as well. Because she was genuinely upset until I think my mum had to explain. Well, I didn't know that, and he's not going to know it. Why would he know that? At his age,
Right.
And online rules change constantly anyway. But it's just like that. I tell them their generation, they don't interact verbally, like in front, face to face. It's easier just to text somebody than to call somebody. Before them, it was email.
Oh, can I just point out, Anne Pinkham has just put a full stop at the end of her sheesh. She's just full stopped me. Oh, I love how Annie's still using proper grammar at the end. She's still doing it.
Oh, we love Anne. Yeah, my kids pick on me because I use punctuation.
I edit so many of my posts because I'm like, I misspelled a word, so I go back and fix it.
I do that all the time too.
Yeah, I do it, and that's misspell something else though. That's the problem. And
if I don't have my glasses on, I can't always see, and then I go, "Oh crap, I spelled that wrong." So I go back and I fix it. I don't want people to think I'm dumb.
When I want to say the word "fuck," right? So when I want to say the word "fuck," it always types it as "duck." But when I want to say the word "duck," it types it as "fuck."
That's because you use fuck more than you use. That's because you use the F more than the D.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's so much miscommunication and so much. I think people would get along a lot better if they were just getting along in real life more than they get along on the internet, because they try to live their lives on the internet instead of in person. Like my mother-in-law is very big on Facebook, and all the family, they do everything on Facebook. I've never had Facebook because I told her, I said, I could either do things or I could spend all my time writing about the things that I do. I'd rather have that extra time to do things. Now, it's great if you want to keep in touch with people, but to me, I live my life. I don't live my life online.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the world to see. I don't post family pictures on Instagram because since my kids have been little, I will not post their picture online without their permission. It's always been that way. Because it's their picture. They own. To me, it's their choice whether or not it's online.
I mean, the people that, a certain yarn dyer who uses her daughter for all of her, I mean, I think that is awful. And I think that in time, I think they're already seeing it from some of the things I've seen. I'm just reading some of the comments. They're hilarious. I think the daughter is really resenting being used. I really do.
Well, I think the daughter's is spoiled too. But I think she's going to have a lot of issues with that child growing up because that child's going to need.
But how awful that people, complete strangers, know that child is spoiled. Do you know what I mean? That is the issue. It's like you should not bring up your children so that other strange people know what kind of upbringing that child's got.
Well, yeah, and using your kid for GoFundMes and using your kid's medical stuff for this, and it's like really, because everybody has struggles in life. Everybody, needs money for medical bills or whatever. Asking total strangers because they're your business customers or they're your online followers to support you. Unless it's a crisis, like you need money for a funeral or something. I'm sorry. It's really, everybody has their own costs they have to pay.
Yeah.
Kids
oh my God, there's a massive spider. Where's that come from?
Morgan, watch.
Neil's got a new pet.
It's one of them tiny ones with massive long legs. Sorry.
Daddy long legs.
It's dead, sorry.
That thing drives me nuts. Yeah, you need to name it.
Murdered it. I feel bad now.
Murder knit spider.
It's called Tabitha. I just bashed out. I missed what Anna said. I can read it. It's all right.
True, Christine. We know about your massive spiders where you live, and we don't want them. You can keep them in Australia, far, far away from us. No, we don't want them here. Morgan might, but the rest of us don't.
It wasn't a fluffy, cute one like the ones Morgan's got. They're cute. This was it wasn't size inclusive. This one, it was a skinny thing. I like the big chunky spiders with a bit of fluff on them.
No.
Oh, now we have to size inclusive our spiders. I don't know.
I don't know. Size inclusive spiders.
It just gets me because some of these people who are always online complaining about that stuff, it's like, do you even knit? Do you even enjoy knitting? Because it seems like you just spend all your time criticizing knitting in the knitting world. Like, it was Neil on the podcast with the shoe.
Oh, I bet they'll be calling me out for killing a spider online now. You watch. There'll be all the vegans will be going mad, won't they?
Yeah.
They're holding little
We'll
funerals.
go hungry. Yeah.
I love.
Oh yeah, you should edit this. Can we not edit it and put splat in the when I did it?
I love the vegans who tell you, don't use wool because
they're so dumb.
It's like, we don't eat the sheep that we get the wool from because you want the sheep to keep growing wool year after year, so we don't eat it.
Gotta cut it.
Spider
Don't
snuff
get a
video.
haircut. It's the same thing.
I don't know. How come we're not all using vegan wool, Neil?
Because it's shit.
There is some out there, I think.
The thing is about the sheep and everything is that you would literally have to let them die, though, wouldn't you? Because you have to shear sheep, or they will die. It might take them a long time to, but they will. And then what do? You just have to let them die out so that you don't breed them. So then they don't even exist. Surely it's better to exist and, have a life of whatever kind. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I thought it was funny. I read that in Pittsburgh, I guess it has a huge Catholic population. And since Ash Wednesday is on Valentine's Day, the Archdiocese has not given a dispensation to eat meat. So you can actually get a reservation at a steakhouse in Pittsburgh on Valentine's Day.
Ooh, and there's some good places too. Oh, let's go.
Because the Catholic parishioners can't eat meat on Valentine's Day. So they said if you're near Pittsburgh and you want a good steak dinner, come on Valentine's Day.
Do you have Pancake Tuesday?
I don't. I'm not Catholic, but
is that a thing in America though? Is it like a cultural thing?
I've heard of it before, and so when I lived in New Jersey, they had it.
Yeah, because that's what Catholics do before. So on the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, you eat all of your flour, milk, and eggs, and make pancakes.
We have here in Michigan. They're called punchkis, and it's a filled donut.
Yeah,
just like you would get at Dunkin' Donuts or something. Different flavors: apple, prune, chocolate, all of them. And that's what everybody eats tomorrow.
Yeah, they have them in our stores too.
Which is the same. It's the same ingredients as a pancake, really,
donut.
Isn't it? A donut.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
more or less.
It's a filled donut.
I think but most Catholics kind of forget that then they're not supposed to eat those foods for the rest of that period, are they? That's why you eat them on the Tuesday.
Right.
We forgot. We didn't bother with it.
You don't eat them on Fridays for sure.
All right, we should probably finish.
I got to eat dinner.
I did too. Before Neil kills any more spiders in the.
I feel bad now. How weird.
PETA comes after us.
Feel guilty. It was just living its life.
Neil, you gave him a quick end. Your cats would have played with him and made it cool.
Oh, and at him, they would have ate him. Yeah, definitely.
See,
Yeah.
You saved him from a painful death. Yeah,
exactly. And we didn't see one of your cats today. What's the deal?
Yeah, they're being a bit funny with me actually at the moment because I went out yesterday and left them all day, more or less.
Shocking.
So they're still sulking.
You need to design a spider hat now, according to BS.
Well. Speaking of spider designs, Morgan knows about this because she's been doing a long testing it, which I've said could take her as long as it takes, which does have a spider in it. It's especially for Morgan. I did it for Morgan. So, yes, there will be a spider design coming at some point.
Interesting.
It's a shawl, a lace shawl. which is why it's going to have a long testing period, because it's quite a lot of faffing about and, you know, back and forth. But yeah, so it won't be for about a year, I don't think. That spider was mocking me. It was a crap snark spider, wasn't it?
Just send PETA his way. They'll come after him.
Oh, God.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yes,
thank
No,
you.
it's good. Thank you.
We missed you last week with Tabitha.
Oh, it would have been too much. If I'd have been on with Tabitha, it would have been. We would have.
I don't know how you're going to
Tabitha, Neil.
I don't know how you're going to get up tomorrow morning and do it with Tabitha. So you better go to bed now.
Well, no, it's 5 p.m. for me. It's 9 a.m.
okay.
for Tabitha, 5 p.m. for me.
It's noon for us or me.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
Tabitha's got to get up early. I don't.
Noon for you, 9 a.m. for me. So I have to get up and go to the store before, so I can come back for that.
Well, we're doing the second part. So we're doing issue 12, and then probably we might. I don't know whether she's finished watching the Curious Case of Natalia Grace, you know, season 2. So I don't know whether we'll be doing that tomorrow. Not sure. Probably not, but we might do. Don't know.
Okay, cool.
You know how we
Sounds
plan
like a
things
plan.
so well.
That'll be
Make
fun.
sure you go watch Neil and Tabitha, because Lord knows what they're going to say. I'm sure.
Oh, and then there'll
be
be Knitting Wars later as well. So we'll be doing that. And then Knitting Wars as usual, I think. Yeah, so you're going to be sick of me in 2 days, 3 times over 2 days.
He's not going to have a voice left by the end. But
let's see if I can kill any more spiders.
But you can work on your sleeve tomorrow while you're talking to Tabitha. See,
there you go.
Yes. Well, you'll see how much progress I've made on that.
Carrie's going to be on Knitting Wars. Awesome.
Oh, is she? Yes,
awesome.
I'll be there. I'm planning to, unless something awful happens in the meantime. But yes.
Make sure I'll have to watch Knitting Wars. What time is Knitting Wars? And
it's usually an hour earlier than Knit Night, I think.
Okay.
Isn't it? I think
that's what I thought.
6 o'clock my time.
Yeah. So, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock your time. Yeah.
3 o'clock Pacific. So.
11 p.m. my time.
Have we all covered our time zone?
Oh, look at what Shelley's put. Oh, thank you, Shelley.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sweet.
We love Carrie.
Yes, we do.
She's the best.
Actually, I've not seen Carrie for a while. Yeah,
I know.
Spoke to her for ages.
I know. So. And Tabitha should be on Knit Night next Monday, so make sure you're around to watch people. You're welcome to come too if you want, Neil.
Shall I?
If you want.
If you want to see Tabitha and I bitching at each other live on it.
Oh, thank you, Shelley. Of course, because you know Tabitha, she holds no holds bars. She will say what she means, and.
Oh, Shelley's also put, and this program is her dream.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Oh, Shelley, we're so used to hate watchers. It's so nice to have someone say something nice.
Well, since you don't sleep anymore, you stay up designing all night. You can design your knee warmers tonight, and you can show off the pattern tomorrow on Knitting Wars. How's that?
Oh God, don't tempt me. I might do. Yeah.
But then again, do you want to?
I'm gonna. Go on. Do you want us what?
Then you will not be having any sleep, and then be on with Tabitha in the morning or in the evening, so you won't know what to say.
Well, I could sleep from 9 till 4, couldn't I, in the day? Or I could go to bed. I could go to bed now and just get up early.
Yes,
in the daytime.
You could go to bed now.
That's more normal, isn't it?
That's more grown up. Be a grown up, Neil.
He'll have to decide if he wants fancy knee warmers or plain knee warmers, or
Oh, they've got to be fancy, haven't they? If they're going to be hidden, they've got to be absolutely fancy. I think
you can crochet some. They go quicker.
Huh?
You can make crochet ones, and they're thicker.
Could do, yeah. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, just like one of those boot cuffs. Just make it go around your knee.
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be like a sock heel, really, couldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Just bigger yarn. You could use worsted.
Those wheels turning out. Go to bed and think about it tomorrow.
That's right.
Oh, Nits and Caboodle says spiders on my knees.
There you go. Or he can put a spider design in his red sweater. Just do all traditional Ganseys and then just do one little spider intermixed.
That would be a brilliant idea. I like that idea. Yeah.
Because I'm sure
Or
there's
a cockroach or something like that.
I'm
no.
I'm sure you can, if you Google or you go on Pinterest and look for pixel designs,
Yeah.
you can find really simple ones that are out there for free.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fancy pants. You could knit some fancy pants like Tara did for the baby and just make them at a bigger size. I don't know if they come in adult sizes though. But thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate it. And we love our viewers. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, put it in the comments or send me an email at knitnightpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Neil, Blocked Magazine, I assume, is how to get a hold of you with all these ideas for issues that people put out that you won't remember tomorrow. So,
oh yeah. Well, shall I put the email in? I'll just put my email in. Hold on.
Yeah, and then that way they'll know how to contact you with ideas and offers to write articles and things for the magazine.
Spelt
sorry.
He's always looking for articles.
Oh,
So.
This comment has failed to post.
Oh, why? I'm blocked. Oh, I'm blocked. You blocked.
Neil James, you are blocked.
Well, I swear we didn't block you. I don't know. You're not blocked as far as I know.
Oh my God, they found me.
What did you do now? What did you do now?
The American government have found me. Joe Biden's got me. With the did you see his red laser eyes on
That's
that?
Okay. He'll forget. He'll forget 5 minutes later he has you. So don't worry about it.
He's not letting me comment. How weird is that?
Wow.
What is it? blockedmagazine@gmail?
Yeah, it's like the easiest one. Just blockmagazine@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can get into there.
Oh, is it because it's an email address? Maybe if I try.
Oh.
Yeah. So if I do blocked magazine and then the word at, everyone will know it off by heart by now, though, won't they?
Okay, there's no space in there because there was a space between blocked magazine, so ignore that. But it's blockedmagazine@gmail.com.
He still won't let me.
I don't know.
How
we didn't
weird.
block you. You'll have to see if you can do it on Knitting Wars tomorrow and see if you're blocked everywhere.
Yeah. I'll see if I can do it on my own show. I bet I can't even do it on that. Then I will know there's some serious something going on.
I'll have to make sure I watch because if you can't do it on your own show, I'm sure Tabitha will have something to say about that. So.
See if I could just send test. Test worked. So it's obviously something to do with. I bet it's the word blocked.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. BS says because you're not a moderator.
Oh, because it's
putting an email. Yeah.
Might be. Yeah.
Maybe.
There. Nope. And let me do it. So.
Well, now it's going to be in the. You've got it all in the chat now 1 million times, and it's ingrained in your heads. Blockmagazine@gmail.com. Blockmagazine@gmail.com.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Neil.
night. We'll see you on Monday. Go watch Tabitha and Neil in the morning and Knitting Wars tomorrow afternoon. So, bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.